Okay, guys, we are live. So for those listening at home, welcome to the Live from the Sword Coast podcast. My name is Kevin Madison, and I will be your friendly dungeon master this evening. No, this morning. I guess it depends where you are. So for today, we are going to be continuing on with our ongoing campaign playing Paizo's very cool science fantasy role-playing game Starfinder, playing through the Against the Aeon Throne Adventure Path. Now, this is our first actual session of this campaign, so that's going to be pretty good. One sec here. Oh, fucking hair. Oh, sorry, I wisely showered before I, like immediately before the session, so my hair is just falling all over the place. But with me today, playing the stars of the Against the Aeon Throne Adventure Path are 5 stalwart Starfinder heroes. I'll go through and introduce everybody the order I've got you guys on the screen here, and if you could say who you are and who you're playing. So first up is Kip.
Hey, I'm Kip. I'm playing Goba, aka Scruffy, who is a Yosoki mechanic.
Very nice. And next up is Mo.
Hi, I'm Morris from the UK. I'm playing JT Cat, or Cat, who is a drow operator or operative, which is the sort of equivalent of a rogue for those of you that have only played sort of Dungeons and Dragons.
Very nice. And next up is Ingolf.
Yeah, I'm Ingolf and I'm playing Vuldan. He's a Vesk warrior fighter.
Very nice. And next up is Thomas.
Hello, I'm Thomas. I'm playing a human priest of Pharasma, the Lady of Graves, an undercover smuggler who knows shady people. But most importantly, Sakros is a parish priest in the lower sectors on Absalom Station and a mystic healer who keeps his friends alive and his enemies off his lawn.
Very nice. And last but not least is a face familiar to those on the channel, is Brent, who has the distinction of having a 1-1 score in terms of killing other PCs and having his PCs killed. So Brent, tells who you are, who you're playing.
Hi, I'm Brent. I am playing Tom, the android technomancer.
Brent, sorry, I should have said this before we went live. Maybe you might want to adjust your camera just a scooch to the left.
Oh, so you actually see me as opposed
there you
to
go. Perfect.
Okay, great. Yeah, that works.
Sorry.
Hey, there's my... Oh, nope.
Okay.
So anyway...
wrong way. Camera
wrong way.
left.
Okay.
There we go.
Okay, so... and Tom is a... specializes in xenoarchaeology, and he takes a moral, flexible approach to the procuring and selling of artifacts.
Very nice. So, without further ado, guys, let's just jump in to the adventure. So, our scene opens, as it does often, with a bit of a cutscene. And what we see is the blackness of space. It is filled with stars, but into the frame from this... Hey, Tom, your camera's working.
Yep.
Nice. Into the darkness of this comes this white ship that looks like this. Oh, I can't make it any bigger. So it drops out, and we can see on the side of the ship, there are the words Liberator 2 written in common, or at least a language that we can understand. As the ship kind of drifts through the void, the camera pans down, and we see a planet below it that looks like this, guys. And in white lettering, we see the words Keldis 4 display. The ship drifts along, and we sort of pan up and look into the cockpit. And in the cockpit, behind the stick, we see a little white rat man. And he's going along. Now, just to refresh our memory here, guys, in terms of who's in what roles, because I think I actually got confused when I was assigning them on the ship. We've got Scruffy, who is going to be the pilot. We've got, is it Tom who's the gunner?
No, I'm the science officer.
Right, okay, so you're the science officer. And one of the things that Mo pointed out is actually there's two turrets. Like one, it's not expressly said in anywhere in the rules that I could find where that if you've got two light weapon turrets, that means it's two separate turrets. But that's the way that all the weapons are displayed in the sample ships. So it seems like the ship actually has two different turrets that can be operated. So you guys could have, in theory, two gunners.
All right.
It also means that you can't have one person operate both weapons. So we've got you as a science officer. Zakros, he's the one who's the gunner. Is that right?
That's right.
Right. And Volden is the captain. And JT, I guess, is the engineer.
Yeah, I'm sort of in the back half of the ship, I'd imagine, sort of where the thrusters are, down in the engine room, and you're all up on the bridge.
Okay. So what we see then is there are three figures who are on the bridge of this ship. We've got the little white rat guy who's flying the ship. We have a tall human who is operating the kind of like comms and the control panel, and walking. Well, I don't know. Is there a captain's chair in this barge? Do you think?
Yeah, probably. I have to sit somewhere.
Yeah, I guess it's days you spend in the drift. So okay, so then you you see that there's this big lizard man who is sitting at the captain's chair, and we hear over the comm this is Keldus control. This is controlled air. This is controlled orbital space. Owned and licensed to the Aspis Consortium. Identify yourself.
Yeah.
So
I'm looking at the others for instruction what to do, because.
So this is what we see. So you activate your comm, Volden, and what you see is that this is the Liberator 2 arriving with supplies for Outpost Ember. And they say, we read you, Liberator 2, transmit confirmation code, and you nod to Zakros. Zakros, you hit something, and there's a brief pause as the ship drifts towards the the looming red planet, looking like a burning orb hanging in the blackness of space. And then you finally hear back, clearance granted, proceed to Outpost Ember. Keldus 4 control out. And you guys are heading your way down. So as you enter the atmosphere, it takes, let's see here, it's 1D, so it'll take you 1 hour to get to the surface. But when you do finally breach the atmosphere of this place, this is what you see as the landscape of Keldus 4. A sprawling, roiling, burning landscape that seems half molten lava and half craggy, recently formed igneous rock. And as you guys are passing over this, you can see that there are a couple instances where there are, it looks like drones that are operating and doing some kind of mining operation. These are generally set up on these small little islands as the ship roars down. The entire place seems to be suffused in this red light that is cast by the heat of the surface. As you're going along too, we see that what comes into view on the horizon is Outpost Ember. And this is what it looks like. A kind of like a sci-fi oil refinery jutting out from the molten surface. You can see that there are a number of landing platforms on there, and you hear back from them. This is Outpost Ember Control. Proceed to landing on platform D. I guess platform Delta, maybe. And the ship sort of arcs around to the far side, and you guys begin going down. As we see the camera pan across our heroes on the bridge, we see this fourth figure walk on, and he has dark black, almost jet black skin and long white hair. And as you can hear his footsteps on the metal floor of the ship, you all turn, and Volden says, "We're coming in." And JT says, "Well, we've got to get, I guess, then it's me." And as the ship is going in, we cut. And we now see a sprawling, beautiful green park. A lot of exotic plants that are out there. But and there's families of a variety of different species. There are Shirin, the three parent families of the insectoid Shirin kind of milling around with their larvae. They have them in their little, safety containers that allow them to experience the wider world without letting them get sick. There are Lashunta who are enjoying, a picnic out in this space. And the sound that we hear in this open park comes from a grandstand that's set up. And the sound is, if you kind of picture a fusion of like African traditional music as well as Aborigine traditional music, because the Lashuntan people, or the Lashuntan, the people who are the band playing this is a traditional Kasathan ensemble. And they have, if you picture a combination of like, the kind of like drums that are made with like a hollow tube, that with a didgeridoo and a flute, and they're making full advantage of their four limbs. And there's this very haunting and rhythmic, kind of layered music that's just suffusing the park. And in this park, we sort of look up and we can see there is a massive dome that protects this verdant space or this verdant area from the cold darkness of space. This is, we didn't see the white lettering. It is, what would the park's name be? I don't know. We'll call it Starfall Park, Absalom Station, 2 days ago. And into this park come 5 reprobates who seem to be looking around trying to find a place. Now, the 5 reprobates are, of course, the heroes of our campaign. So you 5 come walking into this park. You are on the lookout for a contact of yours. And that contact is an android known as Sedona. You have done maybe like 2 tasks for them right now, or for her right now. And this is, you've heard that she's ready. She's got another job for you that will pay substantially more than what your previous sort of minor tasks have been. So what do we see? What are your guys kind of taking in as you're making your way through this park? There's a bunch of different, like the thing that is I think signature about this park is it's got a variety of different ecosystems. Like, there's some traditional Kasathan trees, desert kind of cacti type things that were taken on the Adari when they came from Kasatha, generations ago. There are flower beds that are said to be, seedlings brought, or they are rumored to have been brought pre-gap from, this long lost Galarian. There are more, scrub cacti from Akiton. So it's a very, mixed kind of park, both in terms of its inhabitants and in terms of its fauna, or flora, I should say. So what are you guys doing?
So I grew up on even smaller space stations, so I'm like, this is way too open and green for my comfort. So I'm looking around, making sure that no creatures are going to jump on me, always looking for predators.
This is one of the closest things that you've seen to a horizon on a space station, I imagine, as well. Right. So, okay. How about JT? How's he? This is a lot brighter and more open than what he is likely comfortable or used to.
Definitely. JT, or Cat, is wearing his trademark mirror shades. Obviously, most drow do, because we're a bit sensitive to light. He's also wearing a what appears to be a type of explorer hat, sort of to shade his eyes. And he's rather enjoying being out in the open, as it's all rather new, as he grew up downside, which is basically the slum stroke lower class areas of the station, which is the sort of the less salubrious parts, and some of which are slightly sketchy in the way they work. But he's quite interested, but he's keeping an eye out because he has made some enemies, like quite a lot of us have. And he's just making sure he's not going to get jumped. But he's rather enjoying the change of scene, really, and looking forward to meeting our friend who's done some good contracts with us before.
Okay. What about Volden?
Yeah, I'm looking around, studying the area. Then at some point I asked JT how long we have to walk. I mean, weren't we supposed to meet her here?
Yes.
5 minutes ago or something?
Down by the boating lake, which we're at, so I don't know where she is, but...
Yeah, there is a small... is Rastal still a god in Starfinder? I can't remember. Offhand, let's see here. You know, I think it'll be. No, I don't need to. Rastal is not, at least not listed in the core book. So what there'll be is there's maybe a small, like a Xeno Warden shrine. That's sort of like just something that is, you know, a plaque. We'll say it's the Xeno Wardens are the ones responsible for Starfall Park, and it's supposed to be near this small little artificial lake. From the time you guys have all gotten in here as well, too, you have sort of, there seems to be some kind of security in here as well. And you can notice this, you know, that they have been, you know, keeping a discreet distance from you, or at least they did at first. What about Zakros? What's he doing?
Yeah, since he's also from the lower sectors on Absalom Station, he puts his shades on, way too bright here.
Okay.
And yeah, I look around because I'm expecting trouble. And I look at Tom. Are you smoking again?
Like Tom pulls a cigarette from his mouth, exhales a big cloud of smoke, and goes, "Of course, I'm enjoying that. I'm enjoying this paradise."
Okay.
And
I
sort
hate
of
it.
motions to the park.
I hate it. And you know it. I really hate it. I put on my helmet for fresh air.
So the spectacle of the enormous helmeted human and the otherwise exotic but kind of you know, punk-ish looking group, you know, there's lovers who are walking along hand in hand who kind of see you guys and like turn and start walking the other way.
Are we like the only people who would have like sidearms and stuff with us, and like?
I think that at this level you would not be you wouldn't be walking around with that stuff.
Okay.
Unless you were, I'll leave it to you to decide if you're going to try and conceal the stuff. But these are a more strictly controlled area.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got my handgun under my jacket.
Sure.
In a shoulder holster.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, so that's probably another thing that's weighing on you as well. Is that like that's a contravention of local ordinance to be carrying weapons in here as well. So you kind of want to get this done and get it over with. But you see, or you hear someone kind of clear her throat, and you know, kind of, you know, appear out of the some of the local, over, you know, a group, I guess, of maybe like bushes, who steps out and kind of leans against a tree and says, "This, you four are making me question whether I've chosen the right task or the right team for this task." When I said inconspicuous, did you take it to mean conspicuous? And you turn around, and the woman who is standing there is an android with very like reddish pink skin. There is fine bluish circuitry that you know, or markings that trace around her face. She has long billowing white hair, which is kept underneath this kind of like hooded jacket, kind of like a hiking jacket. The kind of thing that would be, you know, it's stylish enough to pass on the upper levels, but it's also, you know, functional enough to pass as something you could get around on lower levels without, or down below without too much of a second look. She's got like effectively cargo pants on, tucked into kind of like combat boots. And in the, I'm trying to think of the actress's name because I can't remember, but it's the actress who plays Pamela Landry in the Bourne films. She was also in what the fuck was the film in? I think it's Pleasantville. But anyway, I'll find the name of the actress afterwards. But this is what she looks like.
Oh yeah, I when she made that comment to us, I'll apologize and say sorry if our attire isn't fashionable. We haven't had the chance to look into the latest styles and go shopping lately.
Well, I'm glad that we didn't agree to meet at the Veskian Opera.
Yeah.
Well, we would better hear ourselves
Perhaps
speak.
next time.
A Veskian opera? I would love to see that.
If you ask, Volden can tell you. Vesks make the best operas.
Yeah. But I'm confused. She said we were 4, and I thought we were 5, and now I'm puzzled.
I think the confusion is that Goba or Scruffy is sort of like basically underneath you at this point. You sort of like, oh, right. And she says then, this just seems, Basalt, I'm glad that you were able to make it here as at least. That does give me some confidence. How are you all? And you guys have met her maybe like 3 or 4 times before. She's always seemed warm, and then, you know, like, and the tasks that you've done for her so far have been things where it's relatively innocuous things. It's like, you know, deliver a certain package to this certain place in the vast, no questions asked, you know, and you guys have been paid regularly from her. So it gives you an excuse to stay in the vast. And it's you haven't had any troubles with them so far. But she's always, you know, friendly, and she seems to know a fair amount about you guys as well. Someone who, you know, likely has done her due diligence. How is what's the word I'm looking for here? Not the practice. How is the congregation, Zachros? I heard you had some trouble in a stuffer shack recently.
Yeah, well, that got sorted really quickly. And
so I heard. Do you know that the Downside Kings have doubled the price on your heads?
Well,
that's a compliment.
I might catch up with my exes for the price on her head, but
well, I see you're not one for chatting, and Goba, I see that you seem eager to get out of here. I apologize for the surroundings. I thought this would be an ideal opportunity to avoid any untoward or to identify any surveillance that might have. And she sort of gestures over to the security guards who have been sort of like following you along. It's like, you know, one human and one Lashunta who have been kind of keeping a discreet distance. If you think of like, you know, more outdoorsy dressed mall cops, that's kind of what these guys are like. She takes out her comm. She hits something on the comm, and then we see both of them at a distance kind of, you know, look down as if they were notified. They took their comm units out. They look at it, look at each other, turn, and walk away. And she says, now, we should have some privacy. Tell me, what do you know about the settlement on, or a settlement in the vast on Keldus 4? And why don't you guys...
Culture check?
Yeah, culture check, please.
All right.
hang on.
Whoa! No, that's engineering.
No, I'm just trying to find my sheet. Where's my sheet?
No, 21.
Yep.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I can see.
No, yeah, the engineering's from before. Sorry.
Yeah, I put that
There I
together.
am.
Okay. Whoa, nat 1 from Zachros.
Oh,
Great.
doesn't ring a bell.
Yeah.
No, never heard of it.
Okay. So, Tom, you've actually heard of this. Zach, Keldus 4 is basically it's a mining community, but it's a corporate sponsored one. There are a number of different organizations in the Pack Worlds that have been sponsoring kind of expansion into the vast. And one of those is, of course, Abadar Core, the home of all things commercial and the worship of the god of commerce. Another is the Aspis Consortium, which is a much more where Abadar Core, it definitely worships capitalism effectively. It doesn't necessarily, or at least wealth, it doesn't necessarily embrace always the worst elements of corporatism and capitalism. From what all of you know, the Aspis Consortium absolutely does. This is the kind of like, Starfinder equivalent of 19th century mining towns. Where like, yes, we'll sponsor a colony, but then we're going to bill you more than you will ever be able to earn for all your housing, for all your goods, for all everything. So it's the kind of place where it's effective slavery. You can never, once you get there, you're never going to be able to afford to get back off that thing. From what you know, Brent, or Tom, the Keldus 4 colony is a place called Outpost Ember. And it does have a technical staff on it, but it's a place that mines exotic elements. It's metals and exotic elements, because the entire planet is effectively like unfinished cooking. It is a planet of molten rock and give me a mysticism check too, Brent. And you would also infer there's a theory that there may be some kind of connection to the outer planes as well too. A planet that is that geologically speaking new is an anomaly in a galaxy as old as what the Starfinder world is. So, Kat, you've done really well in your culture check too. So, JT, you also know that the Aspis Consortium is effectively like if you ran a corporation like a criminal enterprise.
Cool.
Yeah, they're cool. As long as you're not an employee or an adverse party to it, then otherwise it is amazing. So that's what you know about Keldus 4.
It's really strange that I never heard about it with my smuggling background.
Yes, I think you confused it. Wait, did you say Keldus 4? Sorry, I thought you meant Cordus 4.
Yeah.
You're like, isn't that the planet that's just full of pillows and hugs?
Yeah.
No. So that's what you know. Now, Tom, what do you say? And JT.
I'll just relay, sort of summarize what you said.
Well, no. It's called a role-playing game because we want you to role-play it.
I just speeding things up. Okay. Yeah, Aspis Corp has a colony out there called Outpost Ember. They do some mining and may or may not have a link to the outer planes. Heard some rumors.
Okay. JT, do you have anything to add to that, or are you?
Well, I mean,
keeping your card close to your chest type of guy.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, he said, well, they're like a lot of the people we deal with, slightly grey, but sometimes you need that sort of stuff to grease the wheels of the galaxy to make it work. I personally haven't had any bad experiences. I mean, you always have to be careful when you talk to the work with the Mr. Johnsons and Mr. Johnsons of this world, but I've heard bad stuff, but hey,
well,
maybe they tried to screw them over.
I take it then you understand both physically and but you will know what to expect. What I need you to do, and she holds up a kind of like an info, crystal or something or other, and she says, what I need to be done is for you to make your way there. We have this will give you a manifest. You'll be delivering a cargo to Outpost Ember. But when you're there, what I need you to do is steal a vehicle access one of the outpost nodes that controls the drones there. Activate the or access the computer, the network. There are, as in most of these secure networks, there is a secret node that you will need to access. Once in there, deliver this program and get out of there.
Okay, so it's so we need to do physical access on the network. It's not available externally.
Aspis Consortium is, or the Aspis Consortium is quite secretive, but the downside to that is if you insist on keeping everything secret and connected to itself, it means that there are a lot of different ways of potentially accessing this. We have identified this as a weakness. If we're able to get this delivered, we expect that we should gain a better understanding of precisely what they're up to. That's not something you need to concern yourself with. But since you have not run into, or the Aspis Consortium doesn't think anything ill of you at this point, they have no reason to suspect. The challenges will be, of course, accessing one of the vehicles, though from what we understand, it's a skeleton crew at Outpost Ember and mostly drone operated. This shouldn't give you any difficulty. One hover sled or one hover truck being delivered or being accessed and operated shouldn't trigger any warnings. The ambient electronic or electrosphere interferes with many sensors anyway. One other challenge, though, is the node that you will be accessing is located fairly far out in the Firelands. And in order to secure the network hubs for the drones, because they need a signal repeater in order to have the drones communicate effectively, they need to set up baffles around it to keep the local, let's say, fauna from damaging any of the Aspis Consortium technology. That will interfere with your connection. You will need to put that down. And the local fauna has been known to be aggressive. So you will need to account for that as well. But I trust that, and she nods towards Volden, you'll be able to handle that. Or that's within the scope of your crew's abilities.
Yeah, just to make sure, was it Keldis 4 or Keldis 5?
It is Keldis 4. That's awesome. I got everything that you said, absolutely. Just one question. Who are you?
Yeah, obviously we'll have to do some checking up on the local fauna. We might need some stopping rifles or something a bit beefier if they're really difficult to get to dissuade. Can we do a culture check to see we know what their culture, what fauna they're talking about?
Sure. I think you can make a. Can
I make a life science check?
Yeah,
maybe that.
You guys can choose either life science, culture, or mysticism. All might yield some kind of results.
I think mysticism is my best shot.
Okay. Nice. Did that? So did the +1 factor in? Yeah, it looks like it did. Great.
But, I don't know.
Okay.
Is there some religion involved in that knowledge check?
I think that the reason I'm thinking mysticism might apply is because of sort of like the knowledge of like mystic cosmology. The fact that Tom tweaked to you to the fact that there was a connection to one of the outer planes.
Oh yeah,
right. May have that's sort of what you're thinking of. Woo! Now one from Volden. That's great.
Don't worry. If we need something shooting, you can do that.
Volden says, "Listen, we've got no problem going to Carvus 6. Absolutely fine."
Do I need to make any corrections about the add to anything about the wildlife or anything?
You might want to correct Volden. I imagine this is. I mean, Volden is more the captain by default, it seems, and he's quite happy to be that. Is that right, Ingolf?
Yeah. Well, he wants to have a position, and he's quite convinced that this is a good position, but he's not sure what he's doing.
That's great. It sounds like he wouldn't take any offense to being corrected by his crew. That sounds like
no, totally not. No.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So, all right. So let's see what we got here for results. Following on the nat 1 that you got before for the culture check, there, Zakros. I think maybe what your mind is just reeling with possibilities of things that might be there. Like, oh my god, like anything that's on the plains. Like, there's things that haven't been seen for hundreds of years. Like prior to the gap. Yeah, even like there's a. Oh my god, there could be a brass city there, full of extraplanar creatures. There could be some kind of, oh god, there's magma dragons. There's elemental spirits. There's, I'm not sure if you're saying this out loud, but this is sort of what's going through your mind of all the different possibilities. Only some of which may actually be, actual possible. JT, what I guess that's a really good culture check. You know that lots and lots of places have have places where the barrier between the planes is not as robust as it is in most of the packed worlds. The packed worlds, for the most part, does seem to be fairly stable. But in some of these other places, there are, and you've been there, so, places where they're close to, say, the plane of shadow, or close to the plane of earth. Or aquatic worlds and whatnot. What to expect is that there's all sorts of the kinds of the baffles or whatever else that the Sedona has described. That's one of the things that just these colonists end up adapting. Like if you're in a place where there's creatures that are linked with the elemental plane of water, say, then what you would probably do is create buoys around the colony that create kind of a dissonant kind of sound or vibration of some kind or harmonic that would deter them from going there. It would sour the region. So precisely what I'll do is I'll with that good of a roll, I will allow you to get a bonus on a roll to deactivate those things.
Mm-hmm.
So you're like, oh yeah, I'm familiar with that. Not really.
Back where he originally came from, they probably had something similar to block out some of the nastier bits of the postie.
Oh, totally. Yeah. That's awesome. That's precisely where it is. You're like, oh yeah, I know the places that keep the Dragoloth and whatever else at bay. And no one else really did great. So I mean, I think of
is there anything from a mystic perception or
nothing more than what I've said from based on your roll. So
So Kev, is the DC like a 20 on this?
It might be.
Okay.
The way I see it is that it's going to be graded DC. So the stuff that you guys would, as experienced D&D players, infer about a connection to the elemental plane, that's about as much as what your characters would know.
Okay.
You don't know enough about this precise location, but what I can say is that since the gap, there have been all sorts of exotic other elemental creatures that have manifested either in the packed worlds or have been found elsewhere in the wider galaxy. So there may be some things that you have not experienced before. So, okay. So that's what you know about that. She looks, do you have any questions?
Just when we're going to get our advance.
This is a flashback, so you're not getting any money from this.
All right.
Yeah.
So could we get
just say the usual rates then, Sedona?
Yeah, we're assuming that whatever the cash is for it, it's it has eaten up in getting you to the start of the campaign. You will get XP for this, though.
Is there a specific map that shows where the location is that we want to?
Yes, we've identified one location, and we've included the holographic map in the data.
Kev,
yeah.
Could we say that after this, before they purchased a secure data module like the Lonely Galaxy's Guide to Kalos 4?
There really isn't. I think some of and I'll tell you why is because it's Aspis controlled.
Okay.
They wouldn't let what you could do, Brent, is someone could make a computers check and kind of do scour the infosphere to find any information they can about the what do you call it? About the settlement on Keldas 4. Okay. So yeah, so Kip, that's probably good enough. So what you've, and this will have happened before you guys departed the Pack Worlds, or you sort of. What I will say is there's probably a Hitchhiker's Guide to the Vast kind of thing, which is a section of the infosphere where people just share information and from a variety of different backgrounds, like smugglers and xenoarchaeologists and God, who else would be out there? Explorers, colonists. What you find, Kip, is that there is a mechanic about 5 years ago who shared a story about basically he's bitching about being on disability now or having to have cybernetic replacements and the cost of these and whatever else, because he had his leg crushed by effectively a walking heap of magma.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing I'd be interested in looking at is, can we get the technical specs of the vehicles we're going to be borrowing
yes.
ahead of time, and so I can have a look at the schematics and see how to effectively hotwire it.
So how do you think you would get that?
Oh, I think computers. There
it's
must be
going to be probably a computer's role, but I'm wondering, are you going to try and access an invoicing system, or are you going to try and?
I think maybe the manufacturer's corporate site where they've got the full specs and a bit like car mechanics can get, not like the car manuals that civilians get, but they get a big fat one with all the details.
Sure. Give me a computer's check and let's see what info. And this stuff will all just be cutscene stuff. This is cutscenes.
I don't really want to get to the point where I'm trying to break into the vehicle and find out this is the this is the new version from last year, and I don't have the right bits of.
I love it.
Oh, what they changed the connectors? They're the wrong way around.
Exactly. Okay, so what I think what you find is that there does seem to be kind of standardized, things. One of the things that the Aspis Consortium does, like a lot of major corporations, is they just mass manufacture the same kind of things for this. This would have been something that would have been it's touted as being the all-terrain kind of hover vehicle, something that can be operated in a a zero atmosphere environment, something that could be operated in a extreme temperature environment. You wouldn't be able to necessarily drive it into lava, but it would survive the brushes with that environment that were there. So I think you've got whoever ends up trying to hotwire this vehicle. It's likely, yeah. Although I guess the other thing is that in a lot of these places, like a construction site, if it's a construction colony,
they leave the keys in the.
They're probably not secured. You're not. You don't necessarily need to access. You just need to turn the thing on, and if there's a transponder, you might want to change that, because I imagine there's the space GPS kind of equivalent where you would be able to locate where the vehicle is in the event of things going wrong. I can see that being on there. So maybe what your role tweaked you to is that there would be if you want to completely cover your tracks, you might want to do something with that transponder, which might be an engineering type thing, might be a computers type thing, could be Mystic. I don't know.
Hey, Kev, the other thing I was wondering if we could do while traveling there is if we could use computers to create fake IDs, fake Aspis Corp IDs, just in case we have to talk to people.
Well, no. I mean, what she said is that you're an independent contractor to deliver, so you've got that as your cover. But
Okay.
because it's a closed network, like you guys would have to break into an Aspis core facility in order or to access their computer to do that. And in the Pact worlds, their security is likely a lot more severe. Like one of the reasons why she needs you to do this on one of their colonies in the middle of the vast, away from it, is because that's just how hard this computer network has been to access.
And no, I sort of meant like our. So we already have ideas as like independent contractors. It's not something you have to build. Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
Well, I was more thinking, could we dummy up? Can we look online and see what their sort of techs and people wear in the way of badges and jumpsuits, and just have like a fake ID?
Yep.
I mean, most people don't look at it.
Sure.
Well, I mean, it's just really if we're stealing stuff, we'd be able to find out what uniform they wear and maybe get or have a copy made. So that if we're on the truck and walk up and just take the truck, we just look like another.
So these places, like these kinds of colonies, are serviced by precisely the kind of thing that you guys, have been doing. It's independent contractors that just haul stuff out. The Aspis Consortium does have its own fleet of ships, but as they're sort of, there's a bit of a kind of a resource grab, like where these places, if they're able to finance colonies going out into the vast, there's all sorts of different organizations that are eager to supply that kind of thing. Abadar Corps does that. The Aspis Consortium does that. The Xeno Wardens do that stuff. Many of the churches will apart from Abadar, will pay for those types of colonies as well. And because there's that explosion of and that's not counting independent colonies, because of that explosion of travel, there's just not enough ships to service these places. So it will not be unusual for you guys to show up at this facility and be delivering stuff.
I meant more the people on planet.
Well,
so
again,
delivering to an oil rig, but the oil rig crew would presumably have their own.
Yeah, it's a skeleton crew that's mostly operating, like basically managing the fleet of drones that are actually doing the and the what do you call it, the signal boosters that are set out throughout the planet to deal with the electrosphere issue or magnetosphere issue. When like you guys could try and get some kind of Aspis Consortium gear to disguise yourself, but there's probably not going to be enough guys there, or guys and girls there, to really track it. It's the kind of place where you're going to have a crew of maybe 10 that are supervising a fleet of drones of like 100 or so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and they're probably busy, most of the time. Again, like it's right next door to slave labor kind of setup, so they're going to be busy doing their own thing anyway. Actually, not on this planet, it wouldn't be, because there's not an actual person. These guys would be relatively well paid, so they've got their own shit to deal with. There's plenty of rig for you guys to get lost on, and once you get away, unless someone walks up and is like, where's that ship? And because they're not necessarily all tracking what each other are doing, they may not even notice that one of the ships is gone. Mm-hmm. So there are other facilities, like an Abadar Corps facility is probably run something that had more people on it. That's a great idea to make sure that you're blending in and infiltrating and whatnot. But in this place, they're because the travel through the drift takes several days, right? Like it's or potentially several weeks to get out to the vast. It's expected that you're not going to just drop shit off, turn around, and go. Like you'll probably spend a day off ship.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So presumably we're waiting to see if anything they want to take anything back the other way.
Yeah, I mean, like you guys are free if what you want to do is be like, oh, we're actually the relief crew who's coming in and something like that. It will be more conspicuous when you guys suddenly disappear, which may lead them to take the Aspis Consortium to take a closer look at what happened to that facility. But what Sedona is relying on is your discretion. You guys are showing up. There's a reason you guys are supposed to be there, because you're just like any other crew delivering stuff, and you just so happens that you sneak out. Access one of these nodes, dump in this computer program that she wants you to dump into their secret node, and then get out of there like you're just planned to do.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay. Sounds good to me.
Yep.
So, any other questions, guys?
I'll ask you, is there any time scales, or is it, do you have a sort of drop dead date by we've got to do this, or is it just...
the trip, I believe it's 3d6 days. Like, it's travel through the drift is unfortunately not perfect. She kind of like the corner of her mouth kind of curls up in a smile and says soonish.
Okay. Right, I think we've got a deal. I'll look at the other crew members and...
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Oh, geez. 5d6 days to travel to the vast.
Oh, right. We'll have to stock up on stock the video deck with the new stuff and make sure we've got plenty of food stocks.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see
Do
here.
we have a drift drive on the ship?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes, you do.
Yeah, I didn't miss that one when I designed it.
Thinking so. Are we there yet?
It is unfortunately a drift 1, which means that it does take you the full length of time to get there. So that's actually one thing I do love about this, about the way they've set up interstellar travel. The idea that that's what Traveler does to kind of give it the space, that frontier feel, that communications and physical travel are at the same rate, and that's awesome. Okay, so unless you guys have any other questions for Sedona, we can cut back to you guys coming in to a landing at Operation Ember, or Outpost Ember. Any other questions, guys?
No.
While we're near the planet, I turn over to Tom and say, that planet, that looks like your quarter, a giant ashtray.
Also, I'll sort of elbow him in the ribs and goes, "Hey, maybe we can try and smoke it."
All right. So then we'll cut back and let's refresh our memory here, guys, of what the landscape of Keldus 4 looks like. Lovely kind of place that you want to go vacation. And you are coming in for a landing at Outpost Ember. You guys have had 24 days to discuss how you want to approach this. So, and you've also had an hour to, an hour between when you were leaving orbit to go down to try and do some scans here as well. So, who was the science officer? Is that Brent?
Yes.
Yeah, give me a computers check, please.
Do you want me to try and boost the scanners from engineering?
Oh, yeah, right.
I forgot about that. Yes.
Which I think is an engineering check. I mean, it's normally combat, but I would have thought it would have worked.
And absolutely, yeah, do that.
Where's
definitely.
My character sheet.
Okay, so divert. So that is the. Let's see here. The tier of the ship is tier 1, which means it is a DC 11 for you, JT.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right, hang on.
That's good enough. Okay, so which is great because although that's a great roll there, Brent. So you've boosted power to the sensors and
the engineering. Sorry.
Yours is engineering.
Oh, sorry. Yes. Oh dear.
Then Brent's. So what you basically, you guys have a full schematic of all of Outpost Ember. So you guys can go ahead and plan around that. You've got a detailed scan of what that place is in the span of the hour going down. It first proved difficult. Tom, you sort of picked up that there's just a ton, all that interference that Sedona suggested. She really kind of undersold the difficulty of that. But Tom, you're able to just make some, this isn't your first time to a place that with a, shitty electromagnetic filled atmosphere. You make some adjustments and then you're able to, you guys have a perfect display now. So in the kind of holographic display room, where you guys are coming in as you're coming in for a landing, we can kind of see you guys are able to alternate between a full 3D display of the facility and then also the location of the node, the drone node that she has suggested you access. So what are you guys going to do?
So have we landed, or we're on the process of landing?
Yeah, well, we can just pick up when you're for these kind of things, guys. We can just deal with this really more of just like a scene by scene basis.
Okay.
If there's any heisty kind of stuff, it's easier to do it that way than it is to, well, at least it's more dramatic to do it that way than it is to go like, and then I walk out and what do I see? And then I walk into this room and what do I see?
Yeah, I'll make sure I've got my backpack with all my what appears to be my normal stuff, and also the hacking and engineering kits, and presumably the data module. And I would assume we're going to like deliver the stuff, and then maybe the next day when we're hanging about, one evening we'll slip out and hijack one of the trucks and go out.
Yeah, that was my question about like shifts. Do they have like day, night? First shift, second shift, third shift kind of thing. Like, what time is it going to be less people, or easier for us to slip in, steal it, and slip out?
What we'll say is that you guys can kind of identify. This would probably run on like like naval shift rotations or like submarine shift rotations, where there's just they're trying to keep their crew active and monitoring things and doing their tasks at different times. You guys will pretty much, apart from like the initial encounter with whoever the person is who's filling in as the deck officer, that you guys will have your run of the place.
Okay.
It's going to be clear there are places where you're not supposed to be, but for people coming in after like a month of space travel, you will have access to like the lounge and then maybe some quarters, some like traveler quarters or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll assume that you can kind of identify the time to do this stuff at the point where most of the crew are either doing their own things or sleeping or whatever.
I have a question. Do we have to? Oh, what happened here? Do we have to steal a vehicle to fly to that platform?
That's what I thought.
Yeah, I thought that was the idea. We're going to actually hotwire something.
So we land at the planet, and they are supposed to get something from us. We have to deliver something.
Yeah, you got cargo.
Cover.
Yeah, you've got cargo. Yeah. The Aspis Consortium like farms out some of the general like non-sensitive delivery. So there'll be things like foodstuffs, replacements, like standard kind of plain Jane kind of replacement parts and stuff like that. Fluids or whatever that are used, things that can't be manufactured here.
Yeah.
So you're just sort of bulk delivering that stuff. And while that's kind of going on, they want you to get, the idea being you'll steal one of the local vehicles that is suitable for this environment, then get yourself out there.
Okay. Yeah. Let's do this then.
Okay.
I did not get the part. Why? What are we doing? Wait. I'm just confused.
We did.
So so you say we should steal something? That isn't right.
Borrow, I think.
Borrow.
Yeah.
We'll give it back.
I was talking about stealing. It's confusing. That would be not honorable.
Are we stealing data or just delivering data on their system?
Is Zachros trained in computers at all?
He is, yes.
Yes, okay. So what you would know then is just mechanically, the way that Starfinder kind of computer systems are set up is there's like when you try and hack a computer that you don't have access to or you're not allowed to get into, you gain access to kind of like a lobby. And then that lobby then leads out potentially to other nodes.
No, sorry. The question was about the contract. Do we have to deliver information on their network or get information out of their network?
Deliver.
Deliver.
What
so we're not stealing, Wulden.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah? We're
It's
not stealing. We bring something to them.
No, but there was something about a truck.
Well, we just
I
have to.
don't
We have to borrow. We have to borrow.
No,
the truck.
that we rent that.
Yeah, okay.
Even better.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's a bit like the scene in The Matrix where Trinity goes into the power station.
Yeah.
So that is effectively what we've been asked to do in real terms. break into somewhere and put some software on somewhere, and we don't ask too many questions about what.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. So as you guys arrive, there is a you land, and you know, you guys are all going to be wearing your full environmental suits because even though it's not, I mean, there's not really an environment or a atmosphere here that's breathable, but also the ambient temperature is probably not safe for you to be exposed to, even though it's not, you know, near the surface of the planet, or the ground. I guess not the surface. So you guys, airlock opens, the landing ramp or whatever, or stairs that come out of the Liberator 2 are out, and you guys walk down, and you can see there's a single person who is, walking across the deck towards you guys, flanked by two fairly large, very beaten and battered cargo robots. They're making their way behind him. This person is tall, like as tall as a human, but about almost like twice the width, and not twice, maybe about 1.5 times the width. So this suit itself is just massive. You know, if you think of the like cartoonish proportions in the World of Warcraft, that's kind of what you're seeing, is these ridiculous and your suits, I'm assuming there's some kind of way of like just automatically accessing local networks on suits. So the kind of common channel,
search for Wi-Fi.
What's that?
Search for Wi-Fi.
Search for Wi-Fi, exactly. Space Wi-Fi.
Space Wi-Fi.
So you hear this voice come through that has a bit of an unusual accent that I think JT you pick up. This is an accent that the Orcish people have. What have you guys got for us? Says the voice.
Okay, just the normal delivery. I assume we've got like a delivery chip.
Yeah, like you would have transmitted the cargo. He says, "All right, let's look here," and pulls up this kind of like holographic display from his elbow. All right. Is everything in the one hold?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. We never said how much.
Yes. We're gonna say yes.
Yes. Okay. All right. Give us access to the cargo bay. You go ahead and make yourselves comfortable.
Is that right, Walden? Everything in one?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Sure. This guy does not give a shit. He's just like, the fact that you guys made him put on an environmental suit. Sorry, what was that, Brad?
I said Tom smirks at that response.
So this guy just gestures for you guys to go inside, and he, goes about his business. He really, this is, it's not a source of excitement for him. It's a pain in the ass for him to have to do this work and get away from the other work he was doing. So the labor robots go to work, and you guys are free to head inside. The interior of this, you can kind of picture like a well-used kind of like oil platform. This is not something that's operated to, ensure, maximum safety or comfort for the workers. It is a very, very bare bones thing that is filthy. It's the ambient soot and whatever else that's sort of in the atmosphere seems to make its way everywhere. So you guys will have access to a kind of common room where you guys will be sleeping, and then their lounge, which is really like a windowless kind of room that stinks of stale beer. So you guys would have had certainly more than enough time to sort of work out your plan here. So what we'll say is that if you guys decide to, like, if you find yourself in a situation, you're like, oh, fuck it, we should have done X, we can flashback and just fill in that your characters would have thought of that. So how are you guys planning on carrying out this heist? I imagine that the cargo bay, just looking at the facility, the vehicles are probably, where is it here? Outpost Ember, boom. So the vehicles are probably at one of the lower platforms, and the landing is probably one of the upper kind of platforms there. So what's the plan here, guys?
I guess let's go find us a vehicle.
Yeah, I think probably the thing to do would be to scope out a vehicle and then decide when to do it.
Okay.
And I'm not sure whether we ought to have someone standing by on the ship in case we have to make a run for it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Could we actually, if it had to, do an emergency pickup from the ship?
You could. The expectation, though, is that your. I was actually reading about the ship's engines, and the expectation is that when you arrive at a place, you're going to turn the engines off, and I think it takes an hour to warm them up. Let me double check.
Okay.
Yeah, because effectively, if it's a complete cold start,
Yep.
I was just wondering if it went horribly wrong.
Yeah. What's the size
I think
category?
the 1 minute is if you're fully powered up.
What's the size category of the Liberator?
Hang on.
Size?
Medium? No.
It's a transport, right? Medium.
Medium.
So 1, 2, 3. So it's 3 minutes actually, not hours. 3 minutes to warm up the thrusters.
Yeah,
I think that's assuming that the ship's sort of fully powered up, and it's just a question of saying, right, set the engines to run up. I think
it says point to point on planet is D4 hours, so I'll just say it's 3 hours. So where you're going to be is 3 hours for you to get to from the ship.
No, I think that was more of an emergency, if in case we get busted.
Okay.
On site, is there a way of someone coming in and picking us up? I mean, obviously that would be somewhat failure, but or whether we just sort of hope that we can get in and out. Okay.
I think we should just all go together and because
makes it simpler.
And then we need to all be together to take the skiff. So if someone's in the ship, then we have to figure out how to get them to the vehicle once we've taken it.
You guys would be the first of the new campaigns I'm running in 2019. You'd be the first ones to not split the party in session 1.
I think some of us have had more experience.
Yeah, it's not your first time to this rodeo.
Do I get it right that we landed at the bottom of the oil rig or whatever it is?
Probably like more around midpoint. It could be the bottom. I'm not fussed one way or the other.
And the place we have to go is on the same facility?
The place you have to go
borrow one of the vehicles. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it's vehicles. It's the same facility.
What rank was the orc actually? Does he have contact to the other people up there?
There's probably a local, like a local comnet.
Okay.
He's just a deck dude, and he's probably doubling because this only happens like once a month. He's probably just like that's one of the many tasks that he has to deal with in this.
Okay. Well, how about when we go to grab the vehicle, why one of us is hot wiring that vehicle, someone hacks their communication system and see if we can listen in on their comms. And we can do that simultaneously.
I actually had the idea. I have a vocal modulator. I can imitate voices.
Oh, cool.
So I need a person who has a rank. Then we contact somebody in the upper levels that we get collected up there. So we don't have to steal a vehicle. We just get officially collected and somebody brings us up there.
Very cool. So we can, this is where a good example of the flashback. While you've been talking to this orc, maybe someone would want to get him to talk a little more.
Yes, I open a can of worms. So I have a literal can of worms with me, which I like to eat, and I offer him some snacks. I think orcs might like them as well.
So so he comes in after to check on you guys for the what do you call it? For the to make sure you guys are settled and whatever. And I unfortunately did not load it into Roll20, but I will show you one of the cool things about orcs in Starfinder as opposed to the others is like they're basically albinos. Like, take a look.
I didn't know that.
All right.
Cool.
Yeah, like they're really they're because they have spent pre-gap until now essentially as slaves of the drow on Aposte. They're a very different species than what was in Galarian. So this guy walks in, and I think in the let's see here, who would be playing this character? Let's say that Oh, you know his what's his name? Clark Duncan Jones, the big guy who played Daredevil in the Ben Affleck. Is that his name? I think I'm combining Clark Duncan something or other with Duncan Jones, who is David Bowie's son. That's a terrible. But whatever. You guys, the guy from Green Mile and the big black dude. That's who plays this orc.
Yeah.
Only he's like albino and enormous. He walks in. You guys are all settled then. He looks down.
Good?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. So nice place you got. Where's the spa? Just trying to.
And he kind of looks at you a little confused. I don't think they have a penalty to intelligence, but this guy's probably not the sharpest bulb. He's like, we don't have a spa.
Does he smoke?
Oh, shame.
You like worms.
I'll be friendly and offer him a cigarette. Smoke.
He looks down and he kind of laughs, or he kind of like chuckles a little bit. He reaches in his thing and he pulls out this thing of like orcish cigars, and you're not sure what the fuck this thing is wrapped up in, but he pulls one out and he says, "Trade."
Oh
Hell
yeah.
I've never seen one of those before.
So
That's going to be interesting.
trades off. Now, there's a couple things to concern you about this particular thing, is knowing the hardy constitution of the orcs, and of course what he may actually be able to access here, because it does look like, to be honest, it looks kind of like a cabbage roll. So he trades off with you. He takes this and he holds it in his giant, hands, as if like he was holding a toothpick. And he's like, "Cute." Pulls out this like butane kind of lighter thing and offers to light your cigar for you.
Crap. I'm just gonna fuck it. I didn't actually want to smoke this thing. I guess it sort of calls my bluff. Damn it. Okay. I'll nod and hold this thing out, the cabbage roll out, and
So he lights it for you. You take a drag or two and immediately regret having dragged on this. There's no mechanical penalty, but like how do you think Tom would react to this? Is he trying to kind of?
He's trying. I don't think androids breathe because they. So I'm trying to minimize the amount that gets into me.
You don't breathe. Oh, so basically you smoke like a teenager. You're kind of like. Welcome outside.
I practiced smoking like like a biological, but I'm pretty sure like I can go in the vacuum without needing a helmet, and so I'm assuming that means. In terms of smoking, that would have implications, right?
Yeah. No, I mean, well,
but you talk, don't you?
You only have a bonus against disease and poison.
Yeah.
You don't need to breathe in environmental or stuff the normal environmental effects of being in a vacuum. So you're sturdy, but deleterious substances can still affect you. You're just more resistant to them.
Okay, so. All right.
But don't worry, I got you covered.
Yeah. So look forward to that, level 5 prestige class that you're going to go into called Oncology Patient.
Damn it! I thought I was immune to cancer or secondhand or smoke.
Did the orc introduce himself?
Yeah. His name is Ket.
Oh,
Kept?
actually,
Is that kept?
Ket, K-E-T.
Ket. Hey, Ket. Who is your commanding officer?
Commanding officer is no.
He's definitely not the sharpest.
His name will be Marcus Talks.
Marcus Talks. Where can we find this person?
He's on duty, I think. And he puffs on the takes the little cigarette that Tom has offered, and kind of like, in a single drag, half of it gets pulled down. Where are you guys? You in from the Pack Worlds, or?
Yeah, that's right.
Not
your kind of place, is it?
Pays better out here.
All right.
Unless he kind of looks over at JT. Undesirables. Oh, he wouldn't say anything like that. He's far too dumb to do that. So he kind of looks over. I think
I'm
he's
making sure I'm not around. I had my helmet visor down.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, that's great. So yeah, so he's no, ignore that. He's just perfectly friendly. He's
No,
already started a new conversation.
out of character, yeah, effectively the drow enslaved the orcs, so effectively I don't think he'd get on with me.
Yeah, you definitely would have known that. So he probably makes some small talk about like sports scores and stuff like that. Did you guys bring in the info downloads from you know?
I try to memorize his voice. Yeah, that I can use it with the voice modulator.
Absolutely. That's what I figured that you were doing to try and small talk him, is to pick up this stuff. Yeah.
We can always say we bought him the new Buzzblades match.
Oh, you don't tell me. I got a bet going. We got a pool.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I mean it's in part of the download we brought. I assume we sort of like.
Yeah, it's probably just like a
they get us to bring in the post as well.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Doing...
Because of the way that I can't remember, but I think that it's not as bad as Traveler, where like you show up and then like transmit the data. It's not like a postal ship, but info travels at that speed anyway, and it's probably prioritized. So you being able to bring in that stuff is just a handy way of like spacers helping each other out, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, in the sort of like pre-internet age, it would be the equivalent of like, you know, bringing magazines from America to say, you know, a port in Shanghai, and being like, here you go, just, you know, getting caught up on for expats getting caught up on the news back home. So he says, great, and he gets this big toothy grin on his face, which is all stained because he clearly is an aficionado of these cigars. If you want to chat with him about anything else, you're free to do that. He's not super clever, so I think you could easily work any other information you want to get about the facility. You can probably get out of him as well. So, anything else you want to direct the conversation towards?
Maybe I'll just. Or we already know what vehicle's waiting for us in the bay, or do we have an idea?
I think we did some research on the types, so.
Yeah, GT looked into the kind of, it's effectively like an all-terrain hover vehicle.
Yeah, I would imagine it would be like a Ford Transit van.
All right.
Yeah,
or in a military sense, a Humvee or a Jeep.
Yeah.
They probably have something like that. I was thinking actually, before we came, we probably ought to say when we get on the station, we'll just get a list of drivers' names. As I was imagining that there's probably, you've got to be certified on the equipment. So if we get a list of the regular drivers' names, if something comes on the radio, we can say, oh, this is...
Right. What you could also do is just like spoof the transponder to... No, I mean, the reason that...
Oh, you mean the transponders have like the driver's name? And
yeah, like, well, no, they don't.
Someone else's name on there?
The thing is, they're probably not going to be... they're not tracking on a moment-by-moment basis. They just don't have the people to be able to track each one of these vehicles. So the expectation, that's why Sedona thought this would be a good an option, is because you can probably show up, steal a thing, and drive out to this. You know, it would not be unthinkable for to go out there and service these things anyway. So that could be, you know, you could go to the extra mile and you know, put a specific name on there, but it may not make a difference. No one's probably going to call. No one's going to ask you, hey, who is this? Who's got this vehicle? They just don't have the people to be able to track that kind of stuff.
Okay. While the orc is still here, I hear you got some nasty shit wandering around outside the station.
Tell me about it. You guys don't want to be wandering around out there.
So what's out there?
Any of you guys know what a thermotrod is? You guys can give me mysticism. Anyone with ranks and actually no, all you guys. It's fucking Starfinder. Anyone can try. Oh boy. Okay. So it looks like so Zachros, you were kind of, you know, in while your mind was reeling in all the different things, you didn't even think about this thermotrod. You're like, oh yeah, oh boy. So basically, the what Ket said, you know, what if you guys express any interest in this whatsoever, he says, you know, let me show you, and he goes over and he starts up this, you know, on one of the view screens, he starts up a video. And the video is just like a surveillance footage. Looks like a camera for some, and what it shows is basically like a blackened rock that seems to be surrounded by. In the middle of this rock, there is a piece of machinery in a cylindrical kind of shape. There are then also some other, you can see in the background around this. It's kind of like picture like an island or like a sandbar in an ocean of lava. That's what this structure, the land is here. And around us, you can see in the background at the kind of edge of this like sandbar or I guess rock bar, you can see that there are small little posts set up there. And he says, these things there, and he pokes on the screen at the little posts. This keeps them the thermotrods away, but this one was malfunctioning and we didn't know it. Seems like these things just wait out there. And then you see something move. And Ket gets really excited. He's like, there it is. There, look. And he's poking at the screen. And what you see lumbering out of the lava, dripping with scarlet-covered molten rock, is this.
Damn.
And it is, as it staggers out, it seems to be made entirely of stone. Now, you can't hear anything on this like surveillance footage, but you can almost in your head hear this sort of shifting and cracking of rocks as it lumbers out. And as it does, that maw or that opening in the center of its head there is dripping out with like white hot liquid stone. This thing lumbers forward a couple of steps, and then it seems to like lurch up. And it's tough to tell the scale of this stuff here. But this thing looks up. It seems to like inhale. Its chest sort of billows out. The rocks, like the cracks in between the blackened rocks, seem to glow, and then it jerks forward like as if it's retching. And there's this flow of magma that just falls all over the centerpiece thing. It burns and pops and sparks fly out, and then the slag seems to congeal around the node, and the thing then sort of lumbers forward and slowly like smashes every bit of technology that's on there. And you hear Ket laughing to himself the whole time too. He's like, "We lost 6 drones that day. Transponder went down, or the signal booster went down. Ever since then, we've doubled the checks on the fence."
And that thing is still close here somewhere?
Thing. This place is full of them.
All right. I try to, without causing any suspicion to him, I try to ask him, how do people reach the upper platforms?
Okay. So let's see here.
If you want, I can do a diplomacy check or anything.
I think it's a bluff check. You're trying to illicitly, like, you don't want him to know you're getting this information out of him, right?
Yes.
Okay. So go ahead and give me a bluff check. And you guys would have had time to talk about this before. Does anybody want to try and aid with this? I'll let one other person aid if you give me a role-playing kind of way to lead into that.
Yeah, not me.
Okay.
So
Nobody.
I'm going to double check here, but aid another is a pretty. It's a DC 10, isn't it?
I have no idea, really.
Check here.
If worms could distract him, I could offer just some more of my worms for him.
Yeah, I mean that is absolutely something he's actually been looking at. And kind of aid another. Here we go. 133. Give me just one sec, guys. Let's look it up. Because we do it once, we don't need to do it again. So, for our collective edification, to aid another, you just have to be. You attempt the skill check before the person who you want to help against a DC 10. If you succeed, you give a +2 to the next person's roll. So it's pretty low DC. If you can come up with a role-playing reason to try and Volden, you want to do that. Volden, give me a actually that is diplomacy. So go ahead and give me a diplomacy check.
But hang on. It says he does the same as me.
Oh, same skill, yes. Bluff.
Yeah.
Okay, so go ahead and give me a bluff check, Volden, against a DC 10.
No.
Diplomacy would have been better. I didn't put any ranks in bluff, so I just roll. Okay,
just go ahead and roll.
Good luck.
Here we go. Big money.
Oh,
Nice.
The DC will be 15.
Oh, 11.
Yeah, 15 plus his because it's the higher of either 10 plus his relevant skill or 15 plus his tier, half his tier.
Yeah.
So what is it that Zakros says? Give us the role playing equivalent of it in the most obviously suspicious way you can.
Oh no. How can I? Oh god. Do you have any idea how we can get up there?
He kind of looks at you and he's like, "What do you mean, the upper?"
Yes.
He looks away from the screen. He's like, You're not allowed there."
Oh, I didn't know that.
No, it's this. You're only. You guys got to stay in here or in your quarters. That's it.
I never asked that.
I mean, kind of his eyes kind of narrow, and his eyes don't really you can't tell where the pupil ends and the iris begins. It's just black against the white of his eyes.
Tom changes topic. Hey, do you got any beer around here?
You see, normally it's you guys that bring it in, but yeah, I guess I never seen you before, so you're new to here. If you guys do it again, next time you're buying. So he walks over to the the food unit and he pulls out some beers for you guys. And he says, "Don't drink it all."
Hey, I'll make you a trade, and I'll offer him some more cigarettes.
And he kind of waves his hands. He's like, "No." He says, "Sorry." And he looks at it. He says, "They're just not satisfying." How's that treating you, though?
That's serious shit.
Mm-hmm.
This is
really not neither here nor there, but if your guy is a connoisseur in any way of what's tobacco and its space variants and whatnot too, it's not horrible. It's just really fucking pungent is all. So, yeah. So you say, and Ket sort of says again, and remember, you can drink that down here. You can't go up anywhere other than here.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Okie dokie.
You can access the holovids as well. There's not much in the way of watching, but maybe you'll find something. Anyway, I got hours to make.
All right. See you then.
If you guys need anything, shoot me a message. And he sort of walks out, still carrying the helmet of his suit out, and he leaves the room. So then, so I was a little late here, guys. We are about an hour and 45 minutes in. Why don't we take a 5-minute break now, refresh our drinks, go to the washroom, and then we'll come back and get with the heisting.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Oof. Yee.
All right. I love the character sheets for Roll20 for this. They really are pretty functional.
I was still on standby, so can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Good.
So I will try to reconnect for a last time. I don't know.
Keep rolling ones on your computer, check.
Yeah.
Okay. What browser are you using, Tom?
I use for the Google Hangouts, I use the Chrome browser, and for Roll20, I'm using Brave. Because with Google Chrome, I couldn't see you.
Right.
Yeah. And now I only can see you, and the others I can see in Google, in the Hangouts. Yeah.
Okay.
It's not working as it is supposed to do.
Let's see. Yeah, it's weird because I got like I don't see your avatar. I do see a black screen for your for where your video would be, which is normally the precursor to actually seeing you, but does not seem to be showing up.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it's not that hard. I mean, this should be WebRTC, and I just don't know what they did in Roll20 in order to optimize.
Oh,
So,
I see so I see your avatar photo in Roll20 again.
Yeah. That is because I tried now Firefox.
Okay. Yeah, it's weird. I don't know. Oh, Kip, I had last weekend was our second session of Astonishing Swordsmen and Sorcerers.
Yeah.
And, the guys spent 20 minutes slowly making their way through a cave step by step, tossing a torch in the air, trying to see if they could spot piercers.
Oh, nice.
That was so great. I do plan on using for this campaign too. Like it's not like a fantasy thing where there's a lot of like dungeons and shit like that where the dynamic lighting really benefits or like it would be appropriate. But where possible, I am going to use the dynamic lighting in this because it's so awesome.
Cool.
Really adds to the experience of the characters, carefully making their token forward a little bit by a little bit.
That's cool.
No.
Hey, so we're waiting for Mo, and then we will. We can start getting into talking plans here, guys. So, how is this heist going to go off?
I have another idea.
Okay.
So I looked at diplomacy because I'm trained in that, and there's one section. It's called gather information, and when I spend 1d4 hours talking to people on that rig, yeah, I can try to figure out what's going on the station. How can we get up there? What about the transports? Yeah,
sure.
How do other people get up there that are down here? Yeah, that kind of. So I try to gather information.
So I just rolled 2, so it'll be 2 hours worth of time. Go ahead and give me a information roll. What's the DC for it?
The common facts or rumors are 10. Obscure or secret knowledge is 20.
Okay.
So
let's see how chatty that the staff at Outpost Ember are.
Okay, I roll diplomacy.
Someone's pissed at someone out there.
Not too bad.
Nice. Okay, great. So basically what we'll just say is you have learned precisely say the way to time when people will not be around. You've also learned, where there probably is maybe a camera or two that some cruel DM didn't tell you about, that he was waiting for you to stumble into, that you are now aware of. And know that there is, while it would be like security log footage, someone's not monitoring it live, there is, because this is the sci-fi game, storage is sufficient that I don't think they would be worried about collecting, too much and filling up their memory. So there is cameras that you did not know about as well. Hey, I see Ingle.
Hey.
Nice. So yeah, you're going to kind of picture like a montage scene for a couple of hours of you went and joined everyone for a drink, and as you were talking to everyone, and because you actually rolled so well too, what I'll also say is now you have logged like basically the entire staff's audio sort of fingerprint.
Mm-hmm.
You can duplicate vocal, whatever the fuck it is. You can duplicate anybody who's on staff.
Cool.
Very good. Yeah, that's what I can do at the moment. I don't know. Do we have an operative here on the team?
Yeah.
Isn't JT an operative?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I was thinking, would it be possible to hack into the camera system and sort of loop the video feed so that when we know we're in,
I think that
they don't see these 4 or 5 strange people walking into the. I assume, is it a little sort of hut out somewhere, or is it just like a post?
Is sorry?
The thing we're trying to break into, is it a little sort of like hut out?
No,
it's lava fields.
Basically, what you guys are going to access is the same type of thing you saw on that video footage. It's
right, so just like a sensor pole.
Like what you saw from the video or from the holographic data that you got from Sedona. This is precisely the thing that you're going to access. The thing that the Thermotrod first kind of like threw up on or vomited on was that's the actual like transponder node. That's the thing that helps boost signals to coordinate with the local drones. The little poles or whatever that were around the edge of that rock bar, those were there to basically keep the Thermotrods out. Unfortunately, you guys will. Whoop, no source selected. Your webcam may have just gone crazy there, Mo.
No, I'm just having some biscuits. I didn't want people to see me chewing.
Oh, okay, got it.
Oh yeah.
So the basically what you're going to have to do is shut down that fencing to be able to access the node. So that's where it's not necessarily the one that Thermotrod attacked, but it's very much like that.
All right, so they've got to be in and out quick before one of those Thermotrods shows up.
Yeah.
Well, I can assist with looping the cameras in the building then.
Sure.
Well, I was thinking, when we actually go and borrow a truck, we don't really want to see an unnamed group of people driving out of the truck that they don't recognize.
Okay. So here's what I'll do is I'm going to set this as a there's going to be 3 different components to this. One of them is going to be physically accessing the network. So where would you like to do that from? And what I'm going to say is that you guys can come up with a description of how basically to justify what skill is going to be used. So it could be stealth. You could try and sneak your way down to some access node deeper in Outpost Ember and then access there. You could try and talk someone into giving access to something. I'm going to leave it to you guys to determine how you want to access the computer network. Then what we're going to do is access the node. So make rolls to access the actual computer system. And then the next one will be to enter or to alter the one device, because I think that's how that works in...
Yeah, I was thinking if we go down and effectively go in and plug into where the camera plugs in and do it that way.
Sure. So
the remote access from our quarters to their system, or
You
that
could
might be more monitored, but
they may have footage. Although, I mean, if you're altering again, it's probably not monitored. There's not someone sitting there monitoring. They're just thinking like, if there's a problem, we can go back and review the footage. So if while you're changing the display for the like vehicle bay, you're also going to change your own display and make it look as if you guys were just fucking around, then
yeah,
I'll say that
take some footage of us watching the video.
Sure.
And
so,
we can try and do it remotely.
And then that way we don't have to worry about being somewhere we're not while we're screwing around with the camera system.
Okay.
Okay.
Just better hope
All right.
nobody like Ket was, curious by Zakros' insistence on learning about getting access to places he didn't learn, and that he's not monitoring the feed. I guess we'll have to see whether that happens. So, you guys sort of, what is everyone else doing while JT and Tom are accessing the computer?
I would like to talk to Kat or someone else, I don't know, about these strange stone creatures out there, and probably they are vulnerable to, I don't know, just as a soldier, I have to know how to.
Sure. Yeah, give me a another diplomacy check. We'll say this is part and parcel of the gather information while you and Zakros were out chatting and trying to gather information about this.
Can I hang on? Can I come with you, Captain?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Cool.
I try to aid him then. With his
awesome. Okay, so Zakros, give me a diplomacy check.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, so then Voldan, you get +2 to your result.
Okay.
How many times did I press? I pressed once. Sorry, I clicked only once.
Oh, that's okay. So it's the result that I was laughing at. 5. So 5 + 2 is 7.
Yeah.
All right. I was picking up the book to get the information about thermotrods, and like, nope, don't need that anymore. So Volden, you're sort of you really, I guess, are as blunt as possibly can be with these miners about it. And I think that what you don't get information from them, and also you kind of made it sound like they were all weaklings for not like directly facing these things. So I think what I'm just going to do is going to make the any future or further gather information checks a little bit more difficult. Because you have put them all, they're like, these guys are assholes. Like, we're miners, man. We're not fucking soldiers. So,
yeah, I mean, I have this big hammer. I just have to know, I mean, how hard I have to hit with this hammer.
Yes.
No one ever tried. I can't believe it.
Yes. So, you have these fences sent up. Is that because you were weaklings? Your species are known to be quite brittle, and you burn quite easily, so I understand your cowardice. But could you not just deploy cryo weaponry against this? And that's sort of like the gist of. And Zakros, you keep trying to like spin things like, he's kidding. He's just kidding. And then he's like, I'm not kidding. I think they are cowards. So basically, so you have not made friends in there, but fortunately, like you also made it that they just cannot wait for you to leave, and they don't want anything to do with you.
Right.
Maybe Ket does still seem to be, he's not completely put off by you. So that's what Volden was doing. What about Gobud? Does Gobud want to do anything while the other?
No, I'm just waiting so we can go. I'm kind of like, okay.
So then, JT and Tom. Let's make some computer checks here. So give me a second.
Which one of us is better? We probably have established this stuff now.
I think that it's JT, isn't it? Isn't that one of your
operatives are a bit over the top on skills.
All right. Yeah. Well, I will support you and assist.
So this is a computer hacking, and I've got the kit with me.
So how do you plan? Yeah, Brian, you got it. How do you plan on helping? Like, I'm not sure that backseat coding is really a thing, but if you can give me a cool like narrative way for how you're actually doing that. You've got your so what is your computer, Brent? Remind us again about your AI that you've got.
Oh yeah. So I've got a handy little computer with the holographic display that pops up on my wrist, and it has an AI named Alice, and sounds very much like the child from the Resident Evil movies.
That's great.
For a DM who leans so heavily into horror stuff, that's terrific fodder for.
I'm not giving you ideas as to hijack this, but
much appreciated, bro. Okay, so what you once you guys have got yourself set up and you've managed to access the physical housing or whatever of the thing.
Here's my computer notes for everyone.
Okay, cool. So then Alice kind of displays this creepy little child. Hello, Tom.
Hello, Alice. We're going to be doing some hacking today.
Oh, good. I like playing. So how do you... I guess if you guys both have it, we'll just say both computers are sort of going to be tasking or working towards the same kind of task. So why don't you give me first, Brent, a computers check?
All right.
You need a DC 10, and I'll see how much assistance you are to JT. Whoa, yeah, definitely.
Okay.
So JT, you got an additional +2 to yours. The tier of this computer is a 2. So then to access this thing is a 21, actually. God, that's high.
Ugh. I probably rolled really low. I've also got the hacking kit, which I think.
I think the hacking kit is just what you need to be able to actually attempt the thing.
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah, because I'm looking on 137 of the core book. It says you must have a hacking kit to access and manipulate the system. So yeah, so you're able to access it. And could someone else who's not involved with this double check the errata and see if they've changed the DCs of this? Because that does seem pretty fucking high. Like a 21. This is only a tier 2 computer, and against a.
Well, actually, if I took a 10, I'd get 21.
Oh, okay, cool. And can you?
Because I think my computers are. It should be 11, I think, because
let's see here.
I don't think the sheet really caters for operatives because they've got all sorts of wacky.
So hacking a computer takes 1 full action per tier of the computer. It does, because there is a consequence of failure with hacking. I don't think you can take a 10 on it.
Yeah.
You
Okay.
can with an access, like an unsecured system, you can. Yeah. So that's, but the thing is, you didn't fail. What it means is just that you didn't get progress on it. You didn't fail by, you didn't crit fail on it. You didn't get so bad that you can't. So
That went off.
okay, so you're kind of picturing like there's numbers flying across the screen here, and then you kind of get a whoa. This is like a much more comprehensive security package than what you would expect on a facility, but it is consistent with what you've heard about the Aspis Consortium, I guess. So you want to try again?
Yeah, let's try it again here. I mean, the other way is maybe we could say that if we were physically closer to the cameras, that might be easier, but let's try that again.
Okay. So, Brent, we need another 8 another.
All right.
Nice. Nothing in the FAQ. Okay, thanks, Tom. Hey, there you go. So now that you've seen what their actual system is, you're able to, your hands are flying across the keyboard. Alice, or is that the name of the computer or your AI, Brent? Alice?
Yes.
Alice is, this isn't fun. And she gets this kind of like her image goes from blue to red, and it's like doubling down, and you're flying across, and then you see you guys do finally access the actual computer, the initial sort of unsecured first, or the secured first node, and then she goes back to blue again. It's like that was fun. What are we doing next? So the next thing, this system here does have access to the cameras. So I'm going to let you. I'll use the difficulty for destroy or repair system or module, and it's gonna be same DC at 21.
Okay, so I'm going to loop a set time in the future, maybe.
So actually, I'm looking on page 138. It's create or detect forgery.
Oh yeah, that would sort of.
Yeah, I think that's kind of what you're doing here. So because
I mean, the fact that no one may ever look at it, it's just that.
Yeah,
if
and
they
this
do
will
detect something, it's they come after us like a month later.
Exactly.
So I'm going to effectively loop the time we know we're going to be trying borrowing the vehicle. I'll loop the cameras on the garage.
Awesome.
And also make sure our sort of quarters are showing us watching the video, drinking beer and stuff.
Sure. So because I'm looking at the DC here, because you have a sample, like basically all you're doing is like taking a sample from a different timestamp and then replicating it. It says you get +8 if you've got sample of a similar document.
Oh.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Well, that should be.
Effectively, your difficulty now is a 13. So Brent, give us the 8 another check. Oh, no need. No need. JT.
Yeah,
so that,
I've done this before.
Yeah, is crazy. You exceeded the difficulty by 15. So you can tell exactly whatever you want to be the camera footage. That's precisely what's going to be displayed.
All right. I think we're good. Obviously, I'll let the others know. I think we're ready to go at the time we agreed.
Okay.
I assume we set some sort of time when it's not busy, and then we just go down to the up to the garage, and then
because you rolled so well too, I will allow you to enter one more, and you don't need to pick this right now. We can do this as a flashback thing, but I'll let you have one. There's another kernel of code that you've put in there that you could trigger to do something minor. So if at some point, like you want us to like act, if there's a summons, or you want to have a alert go off, or you want to, I don't know what. Like I'm going to leave it to you to decide.
Okay, we'll say I've got something that I can maybe set off an alarm somewhere else in case we're having to make a run for it, and we need to have people stop following us. And
I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with Blades in the Dark, but it's a Powered by the Apocalypse game published by John Harper, I think. And it's a great game, and one of the things that is really that I love about it is the idea of flashbacks. Like part of the design of the game was an answer to the problem with Shadowrun, where you spend the whole thing planning and then things go immediately awry as soon as you get in the field. It allows you to insert flashbacks. I like using that in every other game that's got any kind of heisty planning shit, so we can just keep things moving, right?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm giving you, JT. JT, you've got something where you can insert something to have happened as like, now this code goes off. Okay.
Yeah, it's in case there's an alert and we need to try and make a run for it. We could set off a blowout alert, or there's a problem with the all those venting flares, and maybe they've got to be all hands to stop a really bad accident happening.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, I'm not going to deliberately set off an accident. That would be a little too dark, but make it look like there's going to be a failure.
Okay, so then you guys are the computer stuff is in place. What are you guys doing next?
Well, let's shall we go to the grab ourselves a car?
Yeah, I think so. We've got all the stuff we need to insert, and then we need to go out. One thing I thought about those lava things, could we nick a couple of them fire extinguishers?
Sure. Yeah, there's probably a lot in the facility.
There'll probably be them hanging about, just in case that maybe squirting them with a fire extinguisher might slow them down a bit.
Sounds good.
I've watched too many Doctor Who films where
Doctor
Who episodes where the monsters were beaten off with fire extinguishers.
At the very least, I've got Mage Hand. Maybe I can fire extinguisher.
Yeah, I mean, you could try and lead them away, but I think if we get in a physical confrontation with them, I think it's going to go badly for us, because they look like they could hit pretty hard.
Okay.
By the way, did anyone else bring any firearms, or did we just assume we can bring on? Yeah, like some relatively easy to conceal, a handgun, not like a big artillery laser or a sniper rifle.
So I'm going to assume that you guys, if you're able to access the vehicle bay without getting detected, you can bring any of your gear, any weaponry, any whatever else. So that's not, I'm not worried about you guys. Again, this place is so sparsely populated that it's easy to. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so then I guess we see you guys. We cut and we see you guys sneaking into the vehicle bay, and the vehicle bay looks. Honestly, I mean, it's a. It looks like a like a sci-fi equivalent of like a prefab hangar, but it's filthy and there's pipes everywhere, and there's a bunch of in the same way that those labor droids or labor robots, I should say, were all pitted and discolored and whatnot from exposure to the elements. So are all of these things. They look like incredibly well used construction equipment, and there's probably a variety of other more like specific construction style utility vehicles around. But there are 3 of these ATV kind of hover vehicles accessible. There's nobody at because you've planned it well. There's nobody in the hangar at this time, so you're kind of free to take what you want. These things are fully concealed as well, so it is kind of like a service van, but a hover vehicle.
Nice.
So will one of them fit all of us?
Absolutely.
All right.
So which one did we borrow?
Are there, how many more vehicles are there?
They're in the vehicle bay or the same type?
No, in the vehicle bay.
In the vehicle bay, there's probably like 6 vehicles or 7 vehicles. Some of them are like big, heavy, like hover crane type things.
Yeah. I asked Scruffy, could you manipulate them vehicles that they don't work anymore?
Take out like a spark plug or something like that?
Yeah, something like that.
Space spark plug.
Space spark plugs.
Yeah.
So,
Space plugs.
all right. Would that be an engineering?
I'm going to let you take 10 on that. Like this is, you're not, it doesn't sound like you're trying to sabotage it in any kind of elaborate way. You're just
No.
Yeah. Am I correct in thinking that you mean something that could easily be attributed to like,
just loosen the spark plug so
Yeah.
the contact doesn't work, so it looks like it's just
Yeah. Exactly.
wear and tear rather than
absolutely
we've stolen all the spark plugs.
So you go skittering up and down this thing, and it seems like every vehicle you've managed to not sabotage, but like it's not going to be immediately functioning.
Cool.
Okay. Apart from yours.
Excellent.
I don't know why aren't we driving already?
So
Well, I assume that one of us is actually hot wiring the vehicle while the rest of us go around pulling the spark plugs.
Yeah. My question
So
was
it's either me or the mechanic.
Turns out no
I can help you out.
no hot wiring required. They're not expecting anybody to take these things. You're able to go in there, and it's that kind of that moment where you're like getting ready to pull the casing on the thing out, then you stop and like look up, pull the visor down, and keys drop in your hand.
Yeah.
So
So
you get one started up, and the hover kind of it kind of shudders and staggers the way that like construction equipment coming to life does. But it's sturdy. You guys pile into the thing. You enter in the code to draw it. Basically, enter the airlock bay, and then the one closes. The second one opens up, and from the normal lighting, you are suddenly suffused again with that red light, where you can see stretching before you again is the surface of Keldis 4. You have your directions in mind, and you guys, we see from a distance this one lone vehicle take off from Outpost Ember and off into the wilds. I'm going to assume this thing travels at about the same rate as your ship, maybe a little slower. Actually, it would be a little slower, I suppose. So it's actually going to be about 6 hours of travel to get out there. But once you get out there, you pass maybe 1 or 2 of these similar islands. But this seems to be the one that you're trying to reach. That's the one that Sedona has identified as kind of like the ideal location. So you guys reach there, and it's very much seeing what this setup kind of looks like on camera with Ket does not prepare you for just the drama of being on a tiny slip of relatively speaking, a tiny slip of rock on a sprawling red ocean of lava. Just give me 1 second. The dog is spazzing out. I'm just going to see what's going on. I'll be right back.
I wonder what the odds of a thermarod showing up are.
Oh, sorry about that.
100%.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think you've played video or role-playing games before, right? Sorry about that, guys. She's had an issue with her tail this morning, and it's just been. I'll make sure that everything was kosher. Okay, so you guys see again this little outlet of rock sitting in this ocean of fire of lava, and just like in the video, there's that little ring of a fence around it. And then in the center, it looks kind of like honestly, like a thimble, but it's made of metal and it's sci-fi and whatnot. That's what you're going to be accessing. So let's go on to the map. So what I didn't put on here was the ship. So let me quickly see if I can find something here. No, for Pete's sake, come on. All right. Oh, that'll work. Okay. Now, where is that? Come on. Let's do this. So here's your vehicle, guys. Is it on the right layer? Yeah, right layer. So this thing has landed boom here. I'll make it a little bit bigger back there. It's not a crawler, but that's just the easiest thing I could find. So this is the part of the land that is not exposed to the elements. You've got those little beacons at the corner there. That's what makes up the fencing. And then right in the center, that little rock piece that around which you guys are all clustered, that will be the node. So you have one thing you need to do in order to access this node. That's shut down the fencing. So what do you guys
So
do?
do we have to shut down each one individually, or can we just shut it off from the center?
You can set it off from the center. So the center kind of pillar or whatever that you're accessing, that thing will allow you to shut the entire fencing down, and then you can go about doing your hacking.
Cool.
Okay. Well, I'm going to suggest if I get ready to do the hacking part of it, and someone else handles the shutdown of the fence, and everyone else looks out for the
So the shutdown of the fence,
interference.
that'll be a computer's hacking check as well. So,
All right.
Brent, do you have a hacking kit?
I do not. I have a fancy computer with a little girl.
Well, question is can we use the same one for?
For the not to do two different tasks. No,
No.
you would need to each have that thing in order to do that. But he could aid though. Like if you wanted, if Tom was going to aid JT.
Okay, well, we'll set up the hacking kit to turn off the fence, and then we'll flip it over and do the other thing, and then
you guys have
turn the fence back on.
Sure, and you guys have had 6 hours to discuss how you want to approach this thing. Anything else you guys want to do in terms of preparation?
Could we just take cover? I think these are like walls, these things there.
They're
if I move here, I could just raise my gun and put it on this kind of wall and just
sure. I'll count it as half cover.
Yeah.
So it'll be like maybe 3 feet tall. And then again, in every direction otherwise that we don't see is roiling lava surface. You guys all have your space suits sealed, helmets on, and you're all speaking through comms. You guys can go ahead.
I'm going to activate junk armor too while we're out here.
Sure. And I think we created the buff for you, right? Last time, so you should just be able to tick on that.
Just one question, because I got it all wrong. I thought we stay on the platform where we were to access the computer, which we have to hack.
Okay.
Why do we have to shoot down the fence?
Because the fence will interfere with the hacking.
Okay.
Yeah.
And with this node here, we can do the hacking.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I go to a really high place. These are ramps. Hang on. Here's a ramp, and here's a ramp. So I position myself here, so I have the other inside.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I can see in the back what's if something gets into the perimeter of the fence.
Sure. So obviously, each square, just like in most Pathfinder D&D, each square is 5 feet.
Yeah.
Okay. JT is going to be near the node. It looks like. So again, the node is right in the center there. Tom, were you positioning yourself by the ship?
No, I moved to the node as well.
Okay. And what about Scruffy? Where are you going?
I'm going to go to the node as well.
Okay. Okay. So then, you can move yourself a little closer then. Boom. All right. Then you guys go. You're going to make a computers check. Tom, are you helping? Are you aiding again?
Yes, I'll assist.
Okay. So Alice comes up again and, the little blue hologram kind of looks around. Ooh, where are we?
More games, interesting environment.
Yeah. So,
and there's that creepy laughter that kind of follows through all of your comms as well, too. Okay, so Tom, give me a computers check.
all right. So that's 21.
So Tom, 21. Okay. So then, he's helping, or Alice, or him, and the combination of him and Alice are helping. So JT, whoa, nice. Awesome. Okay. So then you guys are easily able to, in spite of the interference from both the atmosphere and from the fence, you're easily able to access this computer, and I won't make you make a second stage to hit the fence. So you kind of, access it, and you're like, okay, everyone ready?
Yep. Okay.
There's a slight glow, like a whitish glow around each of these pillars, and it goes down in kind of this main. So you can't hear it, but looking around, you can almost hear the sound in your mind of the shifting and undulating lava, and everyone is kind of looking off. Okay, so
right, I'm going to pay attention. I'm going to unplug the hacking kit from where we plugged it in before. Quickly plug it in to the next door, and then we'll go for the second set.
Okay, so before we jump into the description, what it's going to be, guys, is for those who are doing the hacking, it will require a minimum of 4 actions in order to, 6 actions to do this, because it'll require 2 actions to access this new node, 2 actions to identify the hidden node, and then 2 actions to, once you succeed in that, to deliver the payload. So we have 6 rounds basically before this ends. So we won't drop into initiative yet. We'll just have you guys declare your actions. So I know what JT and Tom are doing for the first round because they're going to be hacking and helping. Is that right?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
So I assume we have to unplug the hacking kit and plug things into a new set of ports.
Yeah, that'll be a narrative. That'll be caught up in your action of hacking stuff. I imagine that your guy's so good that it's really a matter of like boom, boom, boom. It's sort of shifting it over like you're a 20s operator. Chuck kind of stuff. That means Scruffy, Volden, and Zakros, you guys are on watch. What are you guys doing?
Yeah, I'm actually going to be on a watch close. I'm actually going to move back towards the space truck
Okay.
in case we have to leave quickly.
Sure. So go ahead. What's your move's? What, a 30? I think.
I think it's actually a 40. It says on the sheet. So.
Sorry, 60?
No, it said 40 on the sheet.
40. Okay, I say, good lord, that's all. You're fucking monk. Yeah. So go ahead and move yourself up to 8 squares then.
Yeah, I don't know how to move on the roll 20. So
Can you grab your
You
token?
just grab the picture and
Yeah, your little token of Scruffy there. Just grab him and move him.
actually, I don't even see those. So I don't see the tokens. I see the map. I don't see the tokens. So.
Oh, hold on a second here.
well, I seem to be able to move him.
Yeah, move Scruffy. Let me see here. Because you had that issue last time too, right? It was.
All right.
Let's edit Scruffy here.
Where's the ship? So, right now I can see my guy. Hold on.
It's just
Okay.
5 hexes south, 5 squares south.
Yeah. Can you see it now, Kip?
No, hold on. I had the token and then I'm filling with the map.
Well, I can. You know what? I can move you for
Okay.
now. So boom, you gone towards the entrance to the space truck.
Yeah.
And what about Volden and Zakros? What are you guys doing for this round? You know that fence is down, and you know what Ket showed you happened the last time it malfunctioned.
Mm-hmm.
I stay on higher ground to scan the area, so I can warn the others if something is approaching.
Okay. So why don't you give me a perception? Actually, I think. What is your perception bonus?
Perception. Total is 7.
Is 7? Okay. All right. So you're up there. What weapon do you have in your hand?
I have my laser pistol in my hand.
Okay, so your laser pistol's out. You're looking around, your face kind of lit with this red surroundings. You look behind you, the sides. It looks like there's something. It's difficult to say. Like, normally what you would want to be doing, right, is keeping an eye out for movement.
Yeah.
You just, if something moves in the bushes or whatnot. The trouble is the entire fucking around you, all of it's moving, right? So it's very difficult. However, you did roll pretty fucking well. And kind of like, Finn from Jaws style, you think you see a black surface, like a black, bulbous, uneven surface, crest from all the lava and then go back under again. And that was over in this direction here. Voldan,
Okay.
you can say something.
I just through the communication thingy, I tell the others that I saw something like a big shark there in the east, but nothing else unusual here.
Okay.
I'll have to be quick.
Voldan, what are you doing?
Yeah, I'm scanning also the area. I was just trying to look more to the north and to the west, hoping that Zakros would do the other side.
What is your bonus?
On perception, 0.
0. Okay. Oh, is that really? Oh, no.
Very perceptive.
I actually rolled really fucking well for you too. So what I'm going to say is, if you said that you were looking to the west and whatnot, Zakros rolled a little better than you, but you guys both sort of saw that like, that ain't good. Like, imagine if like there was the lava, sort of drifting along on the surface. There's that little like pits of black that are formulating as some of the stone is momentarily becoming solid and then dissolving again into the lava. But in that, you see a round crest of stone come up and then go back underneath. And it's clear that it's, because you can see different parts of it, it's clear that it's a creature surfacing and then kind of going down again. and it was moving in this direction, like from further out and in.
Mm-hmm.
Both of you have seen that.
Mhm.
Let's, if you don't mind, hurry a bit. Nothing to worry about, just a big creature approaching.
Just a giant lava spewing monster. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you think they can break through the ground?
That's actually a good. So having Volden say that, you sort of think for a moment. I'm going to go back. I think what was it, Zachros? You rolled quite well in your second mysticism check. Where was it? Yeah, 21. So you sort of stop and think, and you realize that this creature seems like maybe it's an amalgam. So Tom, I'm guessing that because you guys are the ones who are sort of trained in mysticism, you know the most. You could say to him like, "Can these things move through Earth?" And Tom, you stop and think. You're like, "Oh fuck, I bet they can," because you rolled really well for your roll at first too. Like, this is a place that is both equally, earth and fire. These things might be able to move through the earth.
Yeah.
So, do they say that out loud?
Yes, I'm like, heads up, you guys. We just thought of something.
Yeah. But I tried not to make a big thing out of it. All right? Keep calm.
Yeah, sure. Just
Keep doing what you're at.
I moved into the ship.
Okay, I'm just going to move this.
The ship's idling now.
Okay. You guys all kind of look over, except for JT and Tom. So you guys, Tom, first give me your computer check. And Alice is again giggling and trying to get in. And I think there's little bits of like, it's probably even with the electromagnetic interference too. She's sort of like breaking up and sort of like, the pixels that make her up are sort of like, being torn to the side for a second. Holy shit, guys. That's amazing. So you started making progress. You get in there, and there we see, on your little screens or whatever, there's like the logo of the Aspis Consortium that shows up, and then we're seeing a bunch of like numbers and stuff like that flash by. The hacking has commenced.
Nice.
Turn 2.
I'm going to take the safety off on my pistol.
Yeah, we're gonna.
After hearing that conversation.
Okay, so we'll get to the hackers last. Let's see here. Scruffy is starting the space truck.
Yep.
Is that right? So that thing's
Yeah.
going.
If they're coming running, I'm going to make sure that we can take off right away.
Holden and Zachros, what are you guys doing?
Yeah, I am a bit concerned. So I move a bit closer to the vehicle. There.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're making kind of like walking and keeping an eye out.
Mhm.
You know what? You think you see another one of those things out of it and then under. Shit. Volden, what are you doing?
Do I see the same thing? Probably I just shoot at it if I can.
But you got with your 1%.
Shoot it!
You're sort of. I think that you're sort of seeing movement everywhere. It's like shit. Every little like puddle of stone that I've like described on the, floating on the surface of this lava. You think like, is that one? That one? There's one. Kind of thing.
Yeah. We might be surrounded. Hurry a bit.
Okay.
Working on it.
Turn to our hacking duo.
All right.
Okay. Ooh. Alice is kind of giggling like they like snakes. And she kind of like these snakes appear in her hand and then digitize into just dust. Okay, so +2 for she seems to have pissed off the snakes. No progress this round.
You hear Cat swear under his breath, sorry. And I've got to effectively redo that.
All right.
Oh, good.
Next round. What are Scruffy? So you've got the thing ready to go. Is there anything else you wanted to do from the pilot seat?
Is there any like weapons on the ship or anything?
I don't think so. No, because it's probably
Laser cutters.
Let me think here. I don't think this thing would be equipped with any weaponry. Like they probably would be carrying it if they needed. So unfortunately,
I was thinking mining equipment.
Oh, mining equipment. No, like the actual construction stuff is the stuff that was left in the. This is strictly a
transport vehicle. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's a Land Rover or something like that, I assume.
Yeah.
Like you have on like engineering sites.
Every vehicle in Starfinder does have a collision attack.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to want to do that.
And I'll eat our vehicle.
Yeah. Okay. So, what about Zakros and Voldan? What are you guys doing this round?
I move closer to JT and Tom.
Okay.
And just in case.
Okay, so you go.
If the creatures come near here, I might be more helpful here.
Okay. Let me make a perception check for you. Okay. And Voldan, what are you doing? Are you staying in a position or?
Yeah, I don't. If I can't see anything else, then why should I move closer?
Well, I didn't say that.
Yeah.
What you see is the edge of the rock. At first, you think it's just like because there's that like heat shimmer that's coming from the surface here. You think it may be a trick of the eyes, but what you see over in let me get to the right. There we go. Right over here. There's like how like something moving underneath the surface of water leaves a bit of a rippling wake behind it. You see that right over here. The earth, the stone itself is cracking up as if something is moving underneath there.
Okay.
You can still move if you want, or you can remain in position.
Yeah. Probably I yelled incoming and just remain in my position.
Okay. So incoming, and you guys are like, Zakros, I did roll for you, and you're looking around like, what the fuck is he talking about? Okay. Then let's see here. Tom, let's see if you can help here. Alice.
Ooh, just made it.
Okay, so she's now dove into where those things are, and she gets this kind of cross look on her face, and her voice drops a couple of octaves. I don't like snakes. Oh, and that seems to help, though. So, JT, you...
Thank you, Alice.
You have gained access.
So this is the second stage, isn't it? So
this is the second stage. Now it's unfortunately, this is actually going to be a little more challenging because it's finding the secret node. So you have accessed the main thing, and you know that it's there. At least that's what Sedona tells you. And boy, you hope her intel is correct. But that's what you'll be accessing is the secret. And give me a sec here. I think that it's 5 higher than what the base one is. Let's see here. Sorry.
Yeah, it's firewall, I think, in the rules.
Yeah, it's the firewall, and it's accessing secret nodes. I think is 5 higher. I was looking at it again yesterday, but let me double check. Once I look it up, I won't have to do it again. Let's see. Now, this is the part of gaming of the stream where it really is an authentic recreation of life at the table, right? It's like, let's just pause everything to look at polls for a second.
Yeah, we could just speculate. Probably these things they can't see us. So probably the only way they can detect where we are is by us moving.
That's quite possible, yeah.
So stop moving around.
As I can.
Brent can tell you that my favorite film of all time is Tremors. So, Ingolf, you've made me so happy. If someone starts doing a Kevin Bacon impression, that's it. Best game ever. Okay, so let's see here.
So Scruffy could drive around with that vehicle in circles and draw all his creatures to him.
Yeah, +5 is what it is. Okay.
I could, but I'd be the one in the escape vehicle, and you'd all be on the ground. So if you want me to do that,
a long walk.
Just saying.
Okay. Yeah, so it is going to be 5 higher. So let's do this. Instead, let's start with the hackers, and then we'll go into everybody else.
Okay.
So, Tom, or let's see what if Alice can help you find what's hidden. So, what do you say? What's the instruction you give her as you're sort of working your computer?
Okay, Alice, we're going in deeper. Oh.
Okay, so she's helping a little bit. JT, give us a computers check. Here we go. Big money. And
The suspense.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Mo, are you giving us a computer check?
Okay, yeah.
Oh no!
Oh,
Oh no!
That's a natural 1.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so good. Okay, so oh my god, what would that be? You know what? There's going to be an
Well,
added.
my skill's 10, and put it that way, so I obviously rolled a 1 on that one.
Yeah. So what the nat 1 is you're trying to look for something. And you're like, maybe, oh, is this it here? Boo. And there's a cascade of code that's happening right now that is about to transmit a like basically a message throughout the network, which means that you guys they'll not only be aware that you're here, they'll also be aware that, it'll basically lock everything else down. So you guys will need to spend a round dealing with that to prevent that in addition. So basically it's adding one more round to your list of tasks. Okay. So the all of you who are on the comms can hear at this like a simultaneous from JT and from Tom. Oh shit! So
what do you mean?
On it.
Oh shit!
it's all good.
All right,
That's what you think.
Yeah, so
in your world.
What I'll do is I will go next with one of the with something else. The rock disturbance continues on from here to here to here.
I don't see the circles.
Okay. Off to the right. Can you see it now, guys?
No.
No.
Showing up.
The pings aren't showing. Well, no, I'm only pinging. Can you see me pinging?
Yeah. No.
Oh, you know what? Because I'm pinging on the DMs later. Hold on.
Okay.
There we go.
Masturbation. I'm just pleasuring myself. Okay, so there we go. You see it ping there, then there, then there, and then your heart catches in your throat as the disturbance suddenly erupts out to this.
Oh,
and
no, that's shit.
It is much larger in person than it appeared. No one thought to ask about the scale of this. This thing stands about as tall as what the space truck does. It's close to 10 feet tall, 10 feet wide, and it pulls itself out from the earth like a breaching whale. And it's stomping, losing no momentum. It has used all of its action to get itself there. What are Voldan and Zakros and Scruffy doing this round? Because you guys still get to act this round before.
Yeah, okay.
All right, so I'm gonna lift off.
Say it, suckers.
Bye. I'm gonna try to circle around and draw its attention.
Okay. So let's see here. I'm just gonna look up. Where is it? Where's vehicles?
Oh, can we do that too? Measuring the
Yeah, I think you hold on. What is it? Spacebar or shift?
There is this measure tool in the tool section on the left. There's this thing with a ruler, and you just drag it around.
That will work on this map, but it will likely not on others because I'm lazy, and it's a pain in the ass trying to rescale maps that don't have maps that do have the things on it. The grid.
Mhm.
1 second here. Okay. All right. So who is? You know what? Fuck it. I'll just say that the hover truck has a speed of 15, and it's speed up by 15 each round, up to a max of 450 speed. So the thing starts up, and you've got it airborne now. You can move it 15 squares, 15 squares, 3 squares, Scruffy. On it. Oh, you know what? You may not have control over the.
Yeah, I don't have control over the.
Oh, you know, I'm on the wrong layer again. Objects and tokens. Let me just give you guys all access to that. Boom. You should have control of the vehicle now. What about Zakros and Voldan? What are you guys doing?
I wait until it gets closer, and I ask the others, JT and Tom, how much longer?
Okay.
But another.
Yeah, hold up. Was it 3 rounds? I think.
You now have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rounds actually.
Yeah.
5 rounds until we finished.
So like 30 seconds.
Yeah, assuming successes. 5 successes.
Yeah.
Voldan,
I say, okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Zakros.
I want
Hey.
to say, make haste. I might, it sounds a bit strange, but I might instill fear in it.
Okay. All right. Just distract that thing.
So that's what I'm going to actually try to do. So the space truck.
Yep.
Has headlights.
Yep.
I'm going to point the headlights at the creature and flash them on and off and on and off.
Okay. So you move it over. Let's just angle this over. Oopsies. Come here.
Okay.
Yeah. And let's see here. I'm just going to make a random chance. I'm not going to make a check. Let's see here. It'll. Okay. So it's it kind of looks at the space truck. And you can see it's starting to like bring its air in. And you may remember from the video, it puked out a bunch of lava last time. All right, so then last is Voldan. What are you doing?
Yeah, but I would just. I mean, I could aim and shoot. I'm not sure whether my laser can hurt it, but I will find out.
Lasers do fire damage, right?
Yes.
Okay. So go ahead and make an attack.
They do light damage.
Yes, it does. Whatever you need, Kev, damage.
It's one of those cold lasers.
Yeah. Okay. Alrighty. So 12. So you fire at this thing, and you actually can't tell whether. Oh, Did you do multi-attack this round?
Yeah, I did a full attack. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah.
So there's 2 shots fire off in its direction, and unfortunately, it just it clips the hide of it, and then you chip some of it away, but it doesn't seem to do any damage whatsoever. That I believe is the end of that round. So now, guys, let's everyone select their token and then roll initiative. Let's get. Let me clear what's in there first. Remove all. No. Oh, yeah, clear. Okay. And I'll give this thing a turn. Add turn. Okay, and let's see what the Thermotrod rolls. Thermotrod rolls a. And what is this initiative bonus? 17.
Ouch.
Technically 17.1. Okay. Alrighty, everyone's rolled. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, great. Let's set it in descending order, and boom, we're at top of the round. We got Voldan. So Voldan, it didn't look like that laser did. At least didn't seem to penetrate its hide. What would you want to do?
Yeah. Yeah, I have my hammer. That is probably an idea. I'm just hoping that these things can be distracted by making I don't know, some kind of earth shaking here.
Okay.
So I would just move over here.
Yep.
And smash my hammer just in front of me.
Well, okay, so like you would need to interact with object then too, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's just, I don't know whether this is an interaction. If it is possible, I will do that.
Yeah, so I think what you would have time to do is you're moving, and then your action would be either stowing your, like, I'll let you stow or draw the weapon for free, but the other action would be taken up with that. Like, unless you're using a free action to drop your rifle and then get your hammer out, you would need to stow your laser rifle and then draw the hammer.
Yeah, okay. So then I will just jump a little bit up and down.
Okay, so you're poo, stamping against the ground.
Well,
Okay.
you can hold a long arm with one hand.
Does this hammer require two hands, though?
Oh, it does,
No, I could do it with one, but...
Sure, no, you can do that. That's fine. So yeah, you're bam, kind of battering against the ground, and you see this thing kind of turn that appendage or whatever it is that looks like its head towards you. Next up, is the Thermotrod. So then the Thermotrod has finished inhaling, and then it pukes this gout of lava in your direction, Volden. It actually covers an area 10 feet in diameter. So it hits right here. Doesn't hit anybody else, but from Volden, I need a reflex save, please. As you see the slag barrage come towards you.
Yeah, that's what you get for distracting. Oh,
not one.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
I throw myself into the flames.
Yeah, you you take 5 points of damage as this stuff covers you, and you gain the staggered condition. So on your character sheet, you should be able to tick staggered as the spray of molten stone and metal hardens on you.
Damn it.
Okay, next up is Zakros.
Hang on. Movement is 30 feet, so that's 6 squares, or is it? Hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4. Can I walk here?
Absolutely, yeah.
How far am I away now? 20 feet or 15?
Yeah, 20 feet away.
20 feet. Then I go only to here, all right?
Yep.
Because I try to instill fear into that creature.
Awesome.
Yeah, I try. It's a living creature, is it? I guess.
Who knows?
Yeah. So I try to instill the emotion of being distinguished by water.
Oh, yeah. That's awesome.
Okay, and that's actually a fear spell. It works against challenge rating 4 and lower.
Okay,
so I don't know.
Click on the spell and let's just see what the text. What kind of DC do I need to check against here?
Hang on, I have to close this. There. Fear.
That's a great narrative flourish for it. Okay, so let's hear single.
So it does a will saving throw.
Okay.
And if it is not successful, it gets frightened for 1d4 rounds.
Love it. Okay, so the DC for my save is what here? I think it's on your character sheet. Isn't there a spell DC?
Yeah. It should have your DC by level.
Hang on. What is the?
I haven't got any spells on mine.
11, but, yeah.
I've got my.
Hang on. I have to go to the Mystic and see.
I'm looking at my the DM screen here to see if it's on there. I don't see it.
I didn't write it down here. Sorry about that.
That's okay. Well, you know what? I'm gonna make a roll, and then let's see if I turf this roll, and there's really no.
I think it's only 10 plus my wisdom bonus 3, so it's 13.
Oh,
yeah, I think the level of the spell gets in there as well.
Yeah.
But I did spend this afternoon playing Pathfinder.
I think only half my level, is it?
Okay. Well, you know what, guys? I actually rolled total dog shit for it anyway. So it's frightened for 1d4 rounds. For 1 round. Oh, mine. It must flee
I don't know what the fear condition says.
But frightened means it must flee or fight, and you take a -2 to ability checks and whatever else. This thing, that is a particularly horrific image for it. So it kind of roars back. It doesn't make any noise or whatnot, but I can't. I'm physically incapable of wolfing a monster without making sound. So. Okay, so then that is it. Sort of rears back, and its big kind of like paws are sort of pushing out against the air as if to try and stop this invisible, what do you call it? Invisible water stream. Tom, give us a aid check.
All right.
Holy shit!
That's like
today.
which is funny because my computer bonus is like less than a lot of shoes.
Good progress. Nicely done, JT. Okay, so you guys are one step closer to accessing. Now, do you want to use that to shut down the command or to access the hidden thing?
I think we shut down the alarm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Otherwise, we're going to be in trouble.
So I think you sort of say to yourself, "No, that's not happening," and the alarm immediately goes off, or like it doesn't even get beyond the initial warning stage. Okay, so then next up, we've done JT, we've done Tom, Scruffy.
All right. So, as my move, I'm gonna move back.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get it to move. Does not want to move for me. There we go.
Yeah.
All the while, as I'm moving, I'm flashing the lights, and if it has a space horn, I'm hammering on the space horn.
Absolutely. There's some kind of thing.
I'm trying to draw it. I'm trying to draw it away from them.
Absolutely. Okay. Right. Then it is end of the round, top of the round. Vuldan, what are you doing? So this thing does seem to be apart. Oh, you know what, Vuldan? Sorry, you've the blue bar is your resolve points. The red bar is your hit points.
So I thought this should be stamina.
Hold on, I'm an idiot. Let me switch that. The blue should be your stamina, right? Of course.
Yeah, and then I made it to 4 of 9, which is correct.
Okay, so let's see here. SP, that's what it should be. There we go. Okay, done. All right. So then next up is sorry, Vuldan, what are you doing this round?
Yeah, probably it moves away. So why should I?
Well, it hasn't moved yet. It seems to be reacting in you hear Zakros speak in this like ethereal kind of voice, this echoey kind of thing that when he's calling on Pharasma, that because you guys have been him casting spells before. It's this creepy voice of the grave kind of thing.
So
Tom, I don't want to be adding.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
So I will move behind this next wall thing here.
Sure.
And just wait.
Okay. You know what? I'll give you a free. So I'll give you a free. What do you call it? Perception check here. Because you see, it's done its move, but lurching out of the earth.
16. Yeah.
Or out of the lava on the far side, there may be something else moving.
Yeah,
so, Thermotrod. So the one that you face, Zakros, this thing is turns and dives into the ground, leaving this like ripple of cracked stone around it as it goes fleeing off as fast as it can into the lava. So I'm just going to get it off this layer for now. Okay, so that was it for the Thermotrods, and that other one just came onto the surface. Next up is Zakros. What are you doing?
I run in the other direction.
Okay.
And stay here and wait.
Okay. Next up, Tom. Aid another.
Yes, let's.
So that alarm was killed. Now it's just.
And I'm through the intercom. I say, "How much longer?"
Ooh, look, samesies.
Nice. Oh, JT, nice one. Okay, so with +2 is a 17. Let's see here. 4 + 2 7. Oh, that's good enough. You guys have started accessing this secret. You're starting to see the architecture of this node. One more round, and you should have access to it. Okay. Then Scruffy, what are you doing? You've noticed on the screens, you're like, oh god damn it, there's another one of these things.
So
Yeah, I'll also say 20 seconds or so. Get ready to leave.
So yeah, so I've got it hovering, ready to leave. Where's the next one? I don't see where that one is.
To the west, left.
Under the turn order.
Okay. Got it. All right. Yeah, so I'm gonna stay where I am for the moment.
Okay.
And just get me ready to swoop in and pick them up. So
And top of the round, Voldan, what are you doing? There's a second one of these little things that's come out.
Yeah. Am I still staggered?
You are staggered. Hold on. Yeah, I think it's like for a minute.
Oh,
The
yeah.
condition
Okay.
lasts for 1 minute unless you're. Oh, you can use a full action to peel off enough rock and stone for you to move.
Yeah. No, I won't do that. So I will just use my hammer again. Let's bring them. So here, bring it on.
Bam, bam, bam. You're hitting the ground, and this thing's head kind of
Hit it on yourself.
Okay, so it's carrying through the rock, and let's see here. It can fire up to 60 feet, 30, 40, or try 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Oh, it doesn't even need to move. It looks up and kind of and jets this gout of magma. And again, you position yourself away so no one else is going to be affected by this. I just need you to give me a reflex save, please.
Mm-hmm.
Fortunately, you can't get more staggered as far as you know.
Yeah. This won't be enough, but yeah.
We are making progress, though. It wasn't in that one. So, unfortunately, you take another 8 points of damage as more of this stuff is coating you and your shield. Oh, gross.
Yeah.
All right. It didn't move, though. It spent all its action doing that. So then, Zakros, your turn. What are you doing?
So, yeah, now I have to decide. Either I try to heal Vulden or I try to fear this monster.
Yeah, fear it.
Okay, but I have to go get closer. I go here. The range of the spell is 25 feet.
Okay. So once again, you call
I call upon the what did I try to inspire fear into that monster. It thinks it gets drenched by water and ice, and
so it in its mind comes to the worst possible thing you could imagine this thing being in.
yeah.
Apart from being under the ocean, being under deep down would be bad. So it's in a water park full of children.
oh no, the worst.
I was thinking of one of those ice hotels, you know.
I rolled a 4 on its save, so it is terrified. Next up is Tom. Let's see how your aid goes. Break our streak of 10 here. Yes, nice. Okay,
While he's doing that, I'll yell at Scruffy, bring the truck closer before I do mine. And let's not screw this up, guys.
Come on. Yes, nice. You are access. You found the node. You're in. You're ready to deliver the payload.
Okay, I'll pull out the USB stick that Sedona gave us and plug it in and get ready to hit the button.
It's ready to go. Okay, so then it is Scruffy's turn. What are you doing?
So I am going to turn the vehicle and move it over there.
The thing lands down. I'll put you in there, Scruffy. Wham! Down on the ground next to you guys. Okay, then it is top of the round. Voldan, you're still covered in all this molten shit.
I'll call out Voldan, we're leaving.
Yeah, okay, we are leaving. Then I'm going to leave. I mean,
so he can use as a staggered. You can move, or you can take a standard action.
Yeah, I will move. I will just move.
He looks like he's really struggling against it, but he is moving along. Then it is the Thermotrod's turn. This one turns and does the same thing the other one did. You guys, your characters can't see this. Oh, let me just put the right layer here. There we go. Disappears. But the other one, the viewers could see like this thing is disappearing underneath the lava, and then it stops. Its head clears, and it arcs around and begins starting to move back towards you guys. So you don't see that, but we're going to keep the tension up. Zachros, your turn. What are you doing?
Yeah, I shout at Vulcan, I patch you up later. Let's flee. If the other actually said they're nearly finished. Did the other mention that we're nearly
10
done?
seconds.
Yeah, we're just uploading.
Oh,
We
20
gotta-
seconds. We've got to turn the fence back on.
Okay. I run and to the vehicle and go into it or
Okay.
jump into it.
Side. It's sort of like you can picture it sort of hovering in the air too, which is like the hover equivalent of idling. So you hop on it, like shifts just a hair. Tom,
All right.
here.
Where's my computers?
25, nice. You and Alice are on a roll. JT, this is going to be the lower number again too, so this isn't going to be as high. Easy peasy. Payload delivered. One more
Right,
roll.
you can see the little bar go across the screen.
Yeah. You're just like a little loading.
You need best uploading to the alien starship mode.
Ruffy, what are you doing?
I'm just waiting for them all to get in the thing so we can pull out of here. So I mean, I'm ready to go.
Okay. Voldan, what are you doing?
They have to stay a little bit longer, so I will just move a little bit to the top probably and just see whether there comes anything from left or right.
Now you could keep an eye out if you want, and then use your full action to get that shit off you if you like.
Yes.
I'll let you. Okay, so you'll just we'll keep you next to Tom, and then move all that shit off. All right, then it's the Thermotrod's turn. Guess who's back? The real hero of this scene, Johnny Thermotrod. Now, however, he would have, because he spent 2 move actions getting away, he would have had to spend all his actions getting back. So his actions are done. Kind of like, again, breaching like a whale. Spray of lava behind him. Storming towards you guys. Tom, here we go.
All right.
Nice. And here comes JT.
Right.
Oh no!
Oh,
Oh God! It seems like when you set the computer
you
back
hear
up,
JT swearing in drow.
okay, the what do you call it? The security procedures seem to be back up. So turning the thing back on, you're like, come on. Oh, you know, maybe it is because the way you described it before was different trods. So maybe like you pulled it out from the one and you try to put it in the other. And when this thing hit the ground, all of the earth shook. So you're like, wait, no. And it went in just a hair too late for you to be able to access it.
Yeah.
Scruffy, you see this Thermotrod is coming. It's going to get into like melee range with these guys at the speed it's going. What are you doing?
I'm at. Or maybe not.
I don't know if I want to ram it with a hot metal thing with our ship. I don't think that's.
Yeah, that's probably. I know.
That does not sound like a good plan.
No.
Can you not
vehicle?
Can you not position yourself between the monster and our crew?
Yeah, that's that. I was going to try to do something like that.
Yeah.
Sure.
And then flash, flash the lights and sound the horn and forever.
Awesome. Okay, so it flies in the way there, and you're hitting the horn, you're hitting the flashing lights. Zachros, you kind of like, whoa, are in the back, you're being jostled around because you just got on this thing. You don't lose your footing or anything like that, but okay. Then it is Voldan. So you've shaken yourself free. I think that you can probably see this Thermotrod still because the thing is kind of like dancing back and, or maybe not, I guess, if you were intentionally trying to block. Voldan, what do you want to do?
Yeah. Okay. But I mean, if it hits the cycle, then probably it's broken. No, I mean, I'm a warrior. I have to defend this. So I move a little bit out probably hide behind this wall.
Yeah.
To get some kind of advantage, and
Okay.
then use my hammer again.
Okay, so this thing kind of its head is looking back and forth between the two sources of aggravation. Let's see here. Next up is the Thermotrod. Now, I was wondering whether like dragons or other things with breath weapons, whether this thing had to have a cooldown. And I can assure you that this thing can use its breath every round. So don't worry.
Brilliant.
So let's see here. Which we've got two. To be honest, I can see points for both the ship or the other. So I'm just going to roll randomly. 1 to 3, it's Voldan. You're smaller. 1 to 2, it's Voldan. Roll of 3 to 6, it's the space truck. Appears to be space truck is the thing it's most pissed at. So it kind of brings back, and Scruffy, you have seen this in person, in video. What I'm going to let you do is, instead of a reflex save, give me a piloting check to get out of the way of this thing. And it tries to, spit up its lava vomit onto the ship. So give me a piloting check.
Coming up.
Nice. So you're like, wow. You jet to the side, and there's a bit of a spray that hits it, but fortunately, none of that stuff is. The vehicle, it does get hit by it, but mechanically speaking, there's not enough damage that exceeds its hardness. So this thing, this vehicle needs to be designed for this kind of circumstance. However, you're glad you didn't have to test it with the full immersion.
Yeah.
Whew. Zachros, what are you doing? Once again, you're sort of jostled around and back, like, go! Pharasma, damn it!
I stick my head out and I shout at Vuldan, come here! In here!
Can I suggest an epithet for you?
What?
Yeah. God of Graves!
Yeah. Yeah. By the Lady of Graves! Come in here! Move over here!
Okay, so he's hanging out the window screaming at you guys. Tom, what are you doing?
I'm making my check. Hang on. Alice and I are helping out.
Here we go. +2 to you, JT. Let's see if you got it this time. And yes! Nice! Those 4 pillars all come back to life with white light, and the Thermotrod is exceedingly displeased. It kind of howls as if you put putting a popsicle on a I don't know, I guess a Thermotrod. So we can drop.
It's actually sitting in the fence, as it were.
Yes, it's really displeased. So it turns and hits the ground, and it'll just burrow underneath. I mean, you guys, if you want to make an attack on it, you're free to do that, but it will otherwise get away.
Mm-hmm.
You guys get down the hover truck, and then you all jump into the back of this thing, and seeing basically the Thermotrods are circling this fence right now because they know something's in there. But you guys take off and head off back in the direction of Outpost Ember. What do you guys say to each other as you guys are sort of traveling along?
That was closer than I'd like.
Scary. I think we wanted ranger money from Sedona.
We didn't really get that accurate description of the job.
What took you so long?
Yeah, that's
by the way.
Well,
I did make sure.
Years old, isn't it?
I did make sure I took everything with us.
Yeah, absolutely.
So there should be no evidence.
Okay, so we see this thing going along, and you guys are all thinking like, yeah. We see all of you guys kind of panting. And did anyone, any of the characters, not the players, did any of the characters actually have fun doing that whole thing, or are you guys kind of stressed out on it?
No, I think it was fun hacking.
Okay.
I haven't done tons of it. I've been, more. Tom's been more doing his other things in terms of archaeology. So it was fun to get in and hack. Okay. It was challenging.
So we sort of Tom seems to be actually happy with this. How about JT? How does he feel?
That was a bit close, but that's part of the life. You live close to the edge.
Okay.
I'm just trying to see whether I've got a med kit on me or whether we could. I've got level healing. level 1 healing potion, but
Voldan,
Yeah.
you finally got you got the fight you were looking for.
Yes. Yeah, so this was a nice challenge for once. I mean, yeah. So
Okay.
yeah, I'm a little bit pissed on Zagros because I couldn't get the last one. So I mean, if I would have stood my ground for the third time, that would be awesome. But now it's just a little bit cool. Yeah. Okay.
So Voldan's insisting that he could have taken it.
Yes.
I think
okay.
so too, Volden.
So then-
really. And now keep still. I have to do some work here. And I do the healing touch.
Okay.
I concentrate for 10 minutes and you get 5 hit points back.
Awesome. So we sort of like, the camera cuts to outside and we see you guys traveling along the surface of Keldus 4 towards that. The camera pans up. We're back into space again. And then we see against the blackness of the void, we then see in white lettering 3 years later. And we see drops into orbit, dropping out of the drift. We see once again the Liberator 2. And this is drifting along. And we see, there's maybe a couple changes. Someone's got a different shirt on. Someone's got maybe a beard when they didn't. They've changed the way they're scaling, whatever else is. And you guys arrive in the system for Nakondis, because now we see the white lettering says Nakondis system. This is where you guys have come to deliver a package to an old friend, to your old friend Sedona. Mm-hmm. In the interim, Sedona's retired. And it's been since the end of that mission to Keldus 4. That's the last time you saw her. And she told you she retired. She's the one who got you the regular gig with Abador Corps. So you guys have now got a pretty sweet gig delivering stuff. This will be the first time you're seeing her at Nakondis. So you can drop out. You're all obviously, a little bit excited to be arriving. You've been in transit now, because this is also in the vast. You've been in transit for 12, 17, 21 days, 3 weeks of travel. And you guys are finally able to see space again. And you're all sort of, I think you were aware this was coming, so you're at whatever station you want to be at. You could all maybe be on the bridge. And that's when, Tom, you're drifting along and you see this beautiful kind of like greenish white orb drifting below you. What you know about Nakondis is that it's got it's a very verdant kind of place, lots of forest and trees but it's covered by this weird electrified fog almost everywhere. So it's the surface is mostly covered in cloud cover. But you do know you're going to the I think it's Madelon's Landing is the name of the facility. Yeah, Madelon's Landing. But unfortunately, something immediately happens. You see Tom, before you guys can kind of like, okay, we're finally going to be here. On the pinging, there are 2 incoming vessels. Let's go to quickly here. The space map. So right now you guys can see just the Liberator 2 drifting in space. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let me just quickly do a reveal here. There are 2 vessels that seem to spin around in orbit and begin to approach on an intercept course. They are much smaller than yours. But I'll let you guys determine if they are friendly looking or not, because that's what's approaching towards you.
They look distinctly
Next, we will find out in 2 weeks' time.
Dun,
So-
ta-da.
For those listening at home, thank you so much for joining us for session 1 of our Against the Aeon Throne adventure. Let me just get out a roll 20 and then I'll do the outro. Thanks for as well, guys. I know we went over time today, but I appreciate you sticking around for the extra couple of minutes.
All right.
Here, exit game.
Yeah. If you right up.
Okay. So again, for those listening at home, thanks so much for joining us for episode 1 of the Against the Aeon Throne adventure. This has been a lot of fun seeing these characters get into get some actual action at the table. I'll shoot you guys for the players. I'll shoot you an email with your XP as well, because you did all earn XP for that session. As always, for those listening at home, if you have any comments, questions, or concerns regarding the session, please don't hesitate to leave a comment in the comment section below. You can reach me on Twitter as well at Dungeon Musings, or you can shoot me an email. My email is dungeonmusings@gmail.com. You may also notice that we have links in the description of the video that will take you through to something called Heroes Save Villages. That's the charity fundraising campaign that we're running on the channel. Last year, we raised over $1,000 for SOS Children's Villages International, and we're hoping to beat that this year. So if you've enjoyed the session, or if you enjoy the content on the channel, I'd ask that you just consider clicking through and learning a little more about SOS Children's Villages International, about the Heroes Save Villages campaign, and about some of the rewards that we have on offer. Any money that's donated goes completely to SOS Children's Villages International. None of it's eaten up by bureaucracy or by the channel. So it all goes to just benefit the folks doing very good work to help some children living in very difficult circumstances. And last but not least, I want to thank my players. So guys, Brent, Ingolf, Mo, Tom, and Kip, thank you so much for playing today, guys. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was good.
It's really good.
Great.
All right.
So
it's a bit of a record, because I've spent since 12 o'clock doing Pathfinder and literally had like half an hour to switch. So I haven't played that long for a few years now.
That's correct. Cool.
Did we get XP for session 0 as well?
Sorry, say again?
Did we get XP for session 0?
You did. I think, did I grant it or did I not?
I don't think
You did, but I didn't make a note of it, unfortunately. I've got other various bits we found, which were a few.
Okay. Did anyone else? I can go back to the stream and find out what the last session was, but I thought it was 300. Does 300 sound right to you guys?
I think it does.
Between the
Yeah. Okay. I think I'll double check though, and if I'm wrong about that, then But anyway, cool. Well then,
we'll get some loot from the last session too. We should.
Decide what you want to do with that. And that's something we can do retroactively. You could, if you wanted to sell that crap or whatever, we could do that in a flashback. But anyway, so I will see the players again in 2 weeks. And if anyone's watching us live, we'll see you in 2 weeks to find out what's happening in the orbit of Nakondis. To be clear, that's not what you guys expected. This is a unarmed, colony in the middle of the vast. But we'll have to find out what happens in 2 weeks. So for those at home, thanks again for watching and happy gaming.